Yemo looked dazedly at the place the cultivator died. His spirit sense didn't see anything. Yemo looked dazedly at the place the cultivator died. His spirit sense didn't see anything. There were no void openings nor space wind blades. How could a cultivator die for no reason and in such a bloody manner? Shadowless vulture! One abstruse immortal called out in terror. What is shadowless vulture? One golden immortal tertiary stage asked. The abstruse immortal said seriously. Shadowless vulture is human-faced and vulture-bodied. It can fly in the void and is best at hiding its power. Below great immortal, no one can find shadowless vulture with his spirit sense. If a lone cultivator falls into the eyes of the shadowless vulture, it can only await death because it will follow you until it kills you. They love devouring cultivator essence spirit. That cultivator's essence spirit was devoured by shadowless vulture. It's one of the most terrifying beings in the Chaos Star Realm. It's also called the Star Realm Killer. Those cultivators who didn't know about it looked at each other. They just came in and encountered something this powerful. How were they to survive? Shadowless vulture, Yemo had seen this name many times. Feng Chunhua's jade slip mentioned it. It was just as this abstruse immortal cultivator said, but Feng Chunhua's brother said it was only in the depth of the star realm. Why was it here? I heard a Qianbei say it's only in the depths of the realm. Why did we see it as soon as we came in? That abstruse immortal primary stage asked heavily. What do we do? One golden immortal peak stage asked worriedly. We can only form teams and try not to be picked off. We can't fly here, stick to the ground. The shadowless vulture loves ambushing flying cultivators. They feel that they're the overlord of the skies. Any flying cultivator will be considered to be challenging their authority. One cultivator answered. Then, the cultivator looked at Yemo. Before no one wanted to take Yemo on a team, but now they guessed Yemo's power was very powerful. If Yemo could go on a team with them it would be great. Seeing that cultivator look at him, of course Yemo knew what he meant. But he didn't want to form a team, and even if he did, he wouldn't form a team with someone he didn't know. Yemo didn't answer. His spirit sense scanned to the void where the cultivator died. There was nothing there, but suddenly Yemo used his spirit sense blade. Then, there was a faint shadow shrieking as it flew into the sky. So it feared spirit sense blades. Zissou brought out a purple light. Splurge just like that dying cultivator. A blood arrow shot out, and the shadow in the sky landed on the ground. A human-faced vulture with huge wings fell to the ground. This bird was 3 meters long. Some cultivators who hadn't left saw Yemo could kill the shadowless vulture and were even more shook. Now, no one doubted him about the wolves. The shadowless vultures had dominated the Chaos Star Realm, and no one had been able to kill them. Few had even seen what they looked like. Yet, this golden immortal primary stage killed one with one strike. Friend, you're good, you can even kill the shadowless vulture. One admires your power. That abstruse immortal treated Yemo as someone equal to him now. Those few golden immortal tertiary stages looked at Yemo with some reverence. One golden immortal tertiary stage said to Yemo with admiration, Martial brother, the shadowless vulture's beast core is the most valuable. The main feathers of its 2 wings are extreme-grade forgery materials best for flying magic artifacts. Thank you? Yemo really didn't know what parts of it were worth money. Yemo took the beast core and the 2 main feathers and told that golden immortal cultivator. The rest is yours. Thank you, Qianbei. There was surprise and joy in the golden immortal tertiary stage's eyes, and he quickly charged up, taking the entire body. To him, only a Qianbei wouldn't take such things. I'm going. Then Yemo quickly disappeared into the star realm. So powerful! That abstruse immortal looked at Yemo's figure and approved. That golden immortal peak stage next to him nodded. Indeed, I rarely hear people can kill a shadowless vulture in here, but a golden immortal primary stage could do it. It's too amazing. The abstruse immortal shook his head. I think he's not necessarily golden immortal primary stage. Can a cultivator who can force a shadowless vulture out of stealth and kill it be golden immortal primary stage? Yemo put Zissou on his back. He didn't go on Blue Moon or Zissou. Before understanding how the shadowless vulture ambushed, he really didn't dare to fly. A day later, Yemo didn't find any valuable trial grounds nor any valuable immortal spirit herbs. He didn't even see a shadowless vulture again. This place was like that world where he ascended from. Yemo didn't keep searching. He dug a cultivation home and went in, using the time formation disc to cultivate for a few days before coming out. He thought there was danger everywhere, but now it didn't seem so. 3 days later, Yemo felt the immortal spirit chi here was getting denser and denser. At this moment, Yemo realized that in order to undergo the trial, one had to go to the depths. On the 4th day, Yemo stopped outside a huge valley. He felt the suction of this valley as though he was going to be sucked in and torn to pieces. Star Realm Whirlwind? Yemo murmured. This was one of the most dangerous places in the outskirts of the Star Realm. Ordinary cultivators who got sucked in would be twisted into pieces by the power of the whirlpool. This power was irresistible. It would gradually shed the cultivator layer by layer until bones were left. Even so, the bones would even be turned into fine dust. The strange thing about it was that no matter where you stood, it would take your flesh layer by layer. It wouldn't take your entire body suddenly, but you wouldn't be able to move at all. The force here wasn't something that cultivators below Great Immortal could resist. Yemo didn't retreat because of this. He had chosen a few places for body refinement, and this was one of them. He put away Zisu and used God State body refinement to the max, slowly walking into the valley. Yemo couldn't scan his spirit sense into the wind, it couldn't even reach out 3 meters. 10 steps later, the powerful suction ripped away Yemo's armor. After a few more steps, that terrifying lacerating power came. He couldn't move at all now, he could only sit here and let the wind tear at his body. The force swiped from the surface of his body. He used his 3-birth chant to calculate the next steps of the body refinement cultivation method. Yemo approximately knew the Immortal Realm body refinement cultivation method. In the Immortal Realm, when cultivators reached Great Immortal, their body was equal to God's state, but the tenacity and recovery was far from God's state body refinement. If a cultivator reached God's state peak stage and continued in body refinement, the body wouldn't be able to take it. At this moment, the body refinement cultivator would face his greatest test, that was nirvana. Only after nirvana would the body go under fundamental evolution and become an immortal nirvana body. If a cultivator reached God's state peak stage and continued in body refinement, the body wouldn't be able to take it. At this moment, the body refinement cultivator would face his greatest test, that was nirvana. Only after nirvana would the body go under fundamental evolution and become an immortal nirvana body. So, nirvana was extremely important for body refinement cultivators. Many body refinement cultivators failed nirvana and forever regretted it their entire lives. After nirvana failure, a light consequence would be that they couldn't practice body refinement anymore and could only focus on Tao cultivation. The serious consequences would be that one would only have an essence spirit left. Even with an immortal essence spirit, they would have to find rare treasures to rebuild their body. After that, it was pretty much impossible for body refinement again. If nirvana was successful, the cultivator's body refinement would reach immortal nirvana body. But immortal nirvana body was only an intermediate state. This process was divided into 4 states: primary stage, middle stage, tertiary stage, and peak stage. Once an immortal nirvana body reached peak stage, the body refinement cultivator would officially reach immortal spirit body. This was the greatest hope for immortal realm body refinement cultivators and the greatest they could achieve. An immortal spirit body was also divided into 4 stages. Although for most immortal realm cultivators, immortal spirit body was pretty much the extreme, it wasn't the highest state of body refinement. After immortal spirit body peak stage, one could reach immortal god body, but rarely could cultivators in the immortal realm reach this. Even so, immortal god body wasn't the peak of immortal realm body refinement. After immortal god body peak stage, the body refinement cultivator would reach a peak, and that was divine body. Since the ancient times, it was said that only one cultivator had been able to reach divine body. Yemo didn't plan to reach nirvana now, He just planned to reach God's state peak stage and find another place to achieve nirvana. Nirvana not only needed dense immortal spirit chi, but it was also best if there were top-grade immortal spirit herbs. In this whirlwind, even Yemo's body felt pain. Slashes on his body appeared, but Yemo didn't move and kept using the three-birth chant for body refinement, while completing his body refinement cultivation method. 2 months later, Yemo's bones cracked and he suddenly got up. He knew he had reached God's state tertiary stage. Now Yemo felt that the tearing of the whirlpool was much weaker to him. He went a few thousand meters deeper into the whirlpool and continued body refinement. His immortal nirvana body cultivation method was completed, and he even reached immortal spirit body primary stage. He just needed to reach God's state peak stage and leave. Although he could reach nirvana in the depths of the wind whirlpool, this wasn't the best place nor the best time for nirvana. Plus, without top-grade immortal spirit herbs for nirvana, it wouldn't be good even if he didn't fail. 2 months later, Yemo walked out of the star realm wind whirlpool with a ferocious temperament. He had reached God's state peak stage now. He had been in here for a few months and still hadn't found a place for cultivating spirit sense and immortal essence. Body refinement, like cultivation, got progressively harder, even many times harder than ordinary cultivation. Yemo released Blue Moon and started flying slowly. He didn't dare to go very fast, fearing there would be shadowless vultures. Yemo didn't go very fast to begin with, but the deeper he went the faster he went. He formed a spirit sense domain around him. Yemo thought that since spirit sense blades could reveal shadowless vultures, his spirit sense domain could prevent their ambush. It was far from reaching completion like his sword domain, but it could still allow him to sense things. Just when he was thinking about if this would be useful to shadowless vultures, there was a ripple in his spirit sense domain. Yemo shot out multiple spirit sense blades without hesitation. 2 faint shadows appeared before him. Yemo instantly hacked out with Zisu. Purple rays flashed, and one shadowless vulture was instantly torn apart. The other flew away rapidly. Yemo took the body and chased towards the other one instead. Yemo was going to kill those who tried to kill him, be it cultivators or immortal beasts, no matter what. If he didn't have a spirit sense domain, he would have been ambushed already. Even though he was God's state peak stage and didn't fear the ambush, who knows what would happen? He also heard that they were very vengeful and wouldn't let a cultivator go, no matter what. If he let this one go, it would follow him everyone in the darkness. So Yemo brought Blue Moon's speed almost to the max, and in half a minute he felt that shadowless vulture in his spirit sense domain again. But it was indeed very fast. Even though he brought Blue Moon's speed to the max, he still couldn't catch up to it, but he felt distance was closing. The shadowless vultures had never expected that they would one day be hunted by cultivators. It had always been them who hunted cultivators. Many golden immortals and abstruse immortals saw Yemo hunting that shadowless vulture like crazy and were astonished. These cultivators couldn't see the shadowless vulture, but they could see Yemo accelerating like crazy. In a place like the Chaos Star Realm, he dared to go so fast on a flying magic artifact. Did he not want to live? If people could fly in the sky, there wouldn't be all these cultivators walking on the ground. Near a pond, an icy cold female cultivator was holding off against 2 abstruse immortal cultivators. Yemo chased past here and the 3 saw Yemo at the same time. They didn't know why Yemo was flying in the air so fast and all showed expressions of shock. Yemo saw the 3 too. He knew one of them, that female cultivator, was Bingyu. The 2 standing off against her were both abstruse immortals too. One of them was the one who introduced the shadowless vulture when he first entered here. The 3 seemed to be about to fight. Yemo didn't have the mood to care about it. He was determined to kill that shadowless vulture. Pill Master Yi! Bingyu called out in shock, but Yemo was long gone. Seeing that Yemo didn't even stop, Bingyu frowned. Was Yemo not afraid of death? Did he not know about the shadowless vulture? That shadowless vulture probably knew he couldn't escape this crazy cultivator and suddenly turned around instead, charging at Yemo with rapid speed. Yemo sighed. This was completely illogical. It was flying like lightning ahead, and then suddenly turned 180 degrees without any pause or decrease in speed. Some ordinary cultivator might have fallen for this, but Yemo was ready. He released Zisu and the shadowless vulture charged into his sword chi. A sharp howl swooshed across the void and that shadowless vulture was hacked in half. After taking its beast core and mane feathers, Yemo returned the way he came from. He would help Bingyu if he could. After all, this woman saved him twice. Before he even got back, the three people had begun fighting. It was those two abstruse immortals attacking Bingyu. Seeing Yemo fly back, the three subconsciously stopped. Yemo approved of this Bingyu. She wasn't bad. Friend, long time no see. Seeing Yemo land, that abstruse immortal who came with Yemo here saluted with his fists. Chapter 1577, Extremely Shameless Person. Chapter 1577, Extremely Shameless Person. Jin Bingyu's face was cold and didn't say anything. But that abstruse immortal primary stage who didn't know Yemo looked at his partner in confusion, not understanding why an abstruse immortal would greet a golden immortal primary stage. Yemo smiled and saluted with his fists. Indeed, long time no see. I saw you were going very fast. You seem to be chasing something? That abstruse immortal primary stage asked in confusion. Yemo knew there were shadowless vultures. Why did he still go so fast? I was ambushed by that thing and it annoyed me, so I chased up and killed it, Yemo said. How could this abstruse immortal not know that the thing was the shadowless vulture? Hearing this, that abstruse immortal cultivator was extremely shook. Yemo killed the lurking shadowless vulture, but now he could even chase up and kill them. This guy was probably the first to do this. Yemo didn't feel he was very powerful to be able to kill the shadowless vulture. Shadowless vultures only had speed and expertise in stealth, but that was it. Why were the cultivators here so afraid of them? He really didn't understand. In the immortal realm, many cultivators began to use spirit sense attacks. Did the other cultivators not know shadowless vultures were scared of spirit sense cultivation method? Little did he know that there weren't many spirit sense cultivation methods in the immortal realm either. Most immortals could use their spirit sense to attack, as after reaching a certain level of cultivation, their spirit sense was powerful enough to be freely controlled to that extent. However, they wouldn't use it as a main method of attack. It was a method that higher-powered cultivators used to dominate low-level cultivators. Yemo knew the importance of spirit sense cultivation method, so he never stopped perfecting his spirit sense cultivation method. Almost all his magic artifacts were related to spirit sense, and his spirit sense's power directly affected his power. Yemo would always pursue anything that could improve his spirit sense. Even though he was a golden immortal primary stage now, his spirit sense was no weaker than that of abstruse immortal primary stage cultivators. I'm Wani, I come from Yuan Heaven. This abstruse immortal primary stage immediately wanted to connect with Yemo. He planned to do so when Yemo first killed Shadowless Vulture, but Yemo left too quickly and he didn't get the chance. That cultivator with Wani heard this and looked at him with even more confusion. He thought Wani knew Yemo before, but now it seemed he didn't. I'm Yemo, a solo cultivator, Yemo replied and then asked, Why did you three have conflict? Wani quickly said, There are 4 6-winged purple radishes in the pond. 6-winged purple radishes? Yemo thought and scanned his spirit sense. He immediately saw them growing under a strange rock. These were good things. 6-winged purple radishes were level 5 immortal spirit herbs and had 6 leaves that were like wings. They could be used to concoct the snow wing pill, a pill for curing pill poison. It was a true treasure for all cultivators in the immortal realm. Even Yemo was touched. He had a few pill poison remedy pills also, including the stalagmite benefit pill, but the pitiful thing was, ever since he reached the immortal realm, the use of the stalagmite benefit pill dropped greatly. It was a bit useful when he was a hollow immortal, but when he reached golden immortal, it was negligible. He was an immortal pill great master, how could he not be interested? Yes, I saw them first and I was planning to split 2 each with my friend, but this woman saw them and wanted to take 2. Of course we wouldn't agree. Wang Yi respected Yemo greatly and said it all. Marshall's sister Bingyu, since Brother Wang found them first, I think maybe you shouldn't take them, Emo immediately said while thinking about how to trade them from Wang Yi. Jin Bingyu sneered. They found them? Did you see them? If I say I found them first, would you believe it? In reality, I found them first. I saw them and immediately came over. They were close and arrived here about the same time. She found them first, but she was further away, and so they got here at the same time. She only wanted two, but they didn't want to give a single one to her. How could Emo give up on such a thing? Emo coughed. Marshall's sister Bingyu, Brother Wang, and this friend. Since there are 4 here and you guys can't really divide them, I think everyone who sees them gets a share, so how about 1 each? Hearing this, everyone looked dazedly at Emo. 1 each? This meant that he was asking one for himself? They had never seen someone so shameless. Jin Bingyu thought, even if someone wanted this, only this Yi dude would be able to say something this shameless. More strangely, this guy was only Golden Immortal Primary Stage. If it was some other abstruse immortal, he would have slapped already. Wang Yi was dazed but quickly reacted. Clearly, to dare to bring up such proposal meant Emo didn't fear anyone. Even if they divided 4 amongst 3, they would get at most 1 and a little bit more, so he might as well give 1 to Emo. However, he heard his friend sneer. Before his friend could say anything, Wang Yi quickly said, I agree. Brother Wang, you. The other abstruse immortal primary stage stared at Wang Yi in shock and confusion. You actually agreed to give 1 6-winged purple radish to a golden immortal primary stage? Wang Yi was very contemptuous on the inside. Although this partner came from the same heaven domain as him, he wouldn't care what he thought. If he had conflict with Emo, he wouldn't intervene. He could use this to see Emo's true power. I'm good friends with Brother Yi, plus Brother Ye's method is good, Wang Yi said. I disagree, that abstruse immortal said without hesitation. Emo ignored him and looked at Jin Bingyu asking, Marshall's sister Bingyu, what do you think? Jin Bingyu calmed down. She wouldn't agree from the bottom of her heart, but thinking Emo became friends with this Wang Yi and was Nianmei's doubt partner, she didn't need to offend Emo. She fell silent for a moment and said, In that case, I'll just have 1. Emo looked at the cultivator. It's 3 against 1, you still disagree? Keep dreaming, the abstruse immortal said coldly and looked at Wang Yi. Brother Wang, I'm going to teach this golden immortal primary stage a lesson. Are you okay with that? Wang Yi's face looked bad. You're both my friends, of course I won't help anyone, but everyone is friends, please stay harmonious. Everyone knew what Wang Yi truly intended, but Emo didn't care. He wasn't afraid of this abstruse immortal primary stage. Okay. This abstruse immortal primary stage long had enough of this cocky golden immortal primary stage and released his magic artifact. Seeing both Wang Yi and Jin Bingyu retreat, he settled his heart. He was afraid that woman would help Emo. Now that she didn't, he planned to kill this cocky golden immortal primary stage as soon as possible. Jin Bingyu didn't intend to help Emo. Indeed, she had helped him many times already. Plus, even though she barely agreed to Emo taking her purple radish, she still felt uncomfortable. Chapter 1578. Not just fighting beyond his level. Chapter 1578. Not just fighting beyond his level. It was Emo's first time seeing such a magic artifact, a fist. As soon as the abstruse immortal released this fist magic artifact, the space nearby seemed to be gathered around, making Emo unable to move in the middle. Emo smiled. 4 months ago, he would immediately release his octagonal cauldron and then hack out with Zisu, but now he didn't care. That fist wind area seemed like the Star Realm wind whirlpool. Emo had been in there for a few months, so how could he care about this? The instant the fist space whirlpool formed, it made a loud thud. Countless immortal essence emanated from that huge fist magic artifact, forming countless immortal essence wind flows. They gradually formed into thousands of fist shadows, completely looming over Emo. The distant pond water was stirred up by the explosive immortal essence power. Jin Bingyu and Wang Yi realized that this man wanted to kill Emo with one move. Jin Bingyu's face changed, he didn't even use this move when fighting with her. There was no way Yemo could move now that he was caught in this. He could only watch as he got killed. Just when Jinbingyu wondered whether she should go help, she saw a purple ray hack out from the fist shadows, but it didn't seem to stop this endless fist barrage. The fist shadows still all hit Yemo. Wangi was dazed. He thought Yemo had something to be able to hunt shadowless vultures and kill all those wolves. Even if he couldn't beat an abstruse immortal cultivator, he shouldn't be killed in one move. With that many fist shadows, even if it hit an abstruse immortal, it was certain death, much less for Yemo. How could Yemo not know that this abstruse immortal wanted to kill him? Seeing this, he was going to show no mercy. He would take this and retaliate. This could indeed kill an ordinary abstruse immortal, but he was no ordinary abstruse immortal. He had reached God State peak stage. This level of attack might heavily injure him, but if he wanted to end the battle fast, he would trade injury with life. Yemo used his God State body refinement to the extreme and hacked out with Zisu, Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain. He also wanted to kill this abstruse immortal with one move. The abstruse immortal saw that Yemo could still counterattack under his barrage and was worried. He used even more immortal essence. But soon he felt something was wrong. His countless fist shadows seemed to have struck a very sturdy magic artifact. There were just thudding noises, not the shower of flesh and blood he had expected. Not good, a purple figure hacked down. He felt a powerful binding, the abstruse immortal was shook. This was the first time he saw a golden immortal primary stage use a sword domain. In his shock, he couldn't care about killing Yemo. He used the immortal essence in his body like crazy, trying to shift his body away. Splurge blood flashed, and this abstruse immortal primary stage's armor and half a shoulder were hacked down. Yemo almost spat blood. He knew that the fist barrage had injured him. He sighed. An abstruse immortal was so much more powerful than a golden immortal. If it was a golden immortal peak stage, this strike would be enough to kill him, but he only took an arm. He could kill the void wolf pack that countless abstruse immortals couldn't kill, but that didn't mean he was stronger than abstruse immortals. That abstruse immortal stared at Yemo in shock. He didn't consider this golden immortal primary stage a threat, but that was his full-powered attack. Even an abstruse immortal wouldn't be able to ignore it, and yet this golden immortal primary stage dared to take it, and took off his shoulder and arm. He finally realized why Wangi was so polite to this guy. If he knew this guy was this absurd, he wouldn't think of trying to kill him even if he didn't get an immortal spirit herb. He knew his fist shadows trapped Yemo and those terrifying attacks struck his body. Why was he fine? Unless God State body refinement, or even beyond it. The abstruse immortal thought of this, and there was terror in his eyes. If Yemo was really God State body refinement or beyond, would he be able to run? Thinking about how he flew across the sky with his magic artifact, the abstruse immortal gave up trying to run. He looked pleadingly at Wangi and forgot to even take out a recovery pill. Wangi was still in shock. Yemo's power was far beyond his control. Seeing his friend look over, he shook and saluted with his fists. "Brother Yi, Wang Chun is my friend. Can you forgive him this time on my account?" The cultivation realm and immortal realm were the same. In the wake of power, everything else didn't matter. There was no reason. Yemo nodded. "On Brother Wang's account, I'll let him go." Yemo knew that although Wang Chun lost an arm, if they really fought again, he would still be injured. It was best to end it here. Plus, it wasn't good to be heavily injured in here. Wangi was a good person, so he might as well give it to him. Plus, he didn't have to kill Wang Chun. If it was him, he wouldn't agree to. "Thank you, Brother Yi." Wan Wei didn't expect Yemo to agree and immediately thanked Yemo happily. He picked up the broken arm and gave it to Wang Chun. He felt happy. At least now when he was with Wang Chun he would have more power. Wang Chun quickly ate a few pills and connected the arm back. Jinbingyu looked dazedly at Yemo. Now she didn't doubt at all that Yemo killed all the wolves himself. Yemo was clearly a God State body refinement, or beyond, to be able to take on that fist magic artifact. Body refinement cultivators were extremely rare, and those with accomplishments were rarer. If her master guessed right, then Emo was an immortal pill great master too. Regardless, easily defeating an abstruse immortal primary stage as golden immortal primary stage, this was unheard of. There were cases of golden immortals beating abstruse immortals, but the most absurd case was golden immortal middle stage. Wang Yi saluted with his fists. "I'll go collect the immortal spirit herbs." "I'll go do it," Emo quickly said. "That's fine." Wang Yi nodded and didn't move. He didn't think that Emo didn't believe him. After all, who could go as fast as Emo in here? Emo probably wanted to see if there was anything else. Who wasn't smart here? Since level 5 immortal spirit herbs could grow here, who knew whether there was something special? Emo went first, probably wanting to take whatever supported the growth of the immortal spirit herbs. From his battle performance, neither Jin Bingyu nor Wang Yi wanted to offend Emo. Emo thought so indeed. "Brother Wang, thank you for just now." Wang Chun saluted with his fists. Wang Yi was satisfied on the inside but waved his hand calmly. "No need, we're all friends." Wang Chun hesitated and sound transmissioned. "Brother Wang, who is this Emo? He's golden immortal primary stage and yet he's this powerful? I'm certain he didn't hide his power." Wang Yi looked at Emo's back but didn't use sound transmission. He said, "If you know why Brother Yi flew over so fast just then, you wouldn't want to fight him." "Why?" Wang Chun whispered this time. Chapter 1579, Just How Cocky Is He? Chapter 1579, Just How Cocky Is He? Jin Bingyu heard this and also listened in. She really wanted to know what Emo was doing so cockily on the flying immortal artifact. Because he went to hunt shadowless vultures. That shadowless vulture probably ambushed him, so he chased up and killed it. Wang Yi looked at Wang Chun and replied. "What?" Wang Chun was dazed. There were people here hunting shadowless vultures? Just how cocky was he that he went to fight something like that? Jin Bingyu was dazed too. She didn't expect Emo went to hunt shadowless vultures. Was that something that could be hunted? This was the first time she heard this. She felt there were more and more secrets about Emo. She even wanted to ask if Emo was Pill Master Great Master. If so, she really wanted to give her share to Emo for pill concoction. Knowing this, Wang Chun completely lost his attitude. He even gave up the thought of revenge. Emo was standing opposite the pond now, and the 4 6-winged radishes were squeezed in a small rink. There was a mark on the outside and a thin stream of water flowed over. Seeing this, Emo realized why they appeared here. This was a natural stealth formation, and the rock was charged open by the water. After a long time, the rock fell into the lake, and thus the 4 immortal spirit herbs could be found with spirit sense. Emo carefully dug one up and immediately felt the extremely dense immortal spirit chi below it. Emo felt it with his hands and a cool liquid flew around his finger. Emo was shook. This was a low-grade hidden ice immortal well. There were many types of immortal wells: low-grade, middle-grade, top-grade, and extreme-grade. There were also elemental immortal wells. Other than the 5 elements and wind, lightning, and ice, there were also hidden immortal wells. The reason hidden immortal wells were good and favored was because their purity was high and easily to digest. A low-grade hidden ice immortal well was even better than an ordinary top-grade immortal well. It also had a special feature, and that was that it couldn't be moved away and one must stay here to cultivate. If it was moved, it would become an ordinary immortal well. Emo calmed his excitement and took the 4 immortal spirit herbs before throwing a stealth formation disc here. Moments later, Emo came back out. Jin Bingyu and Wang Yi looked over immediately. Emo took out 2 radishes and gave one to Wang Yi and one to Jin Bingyu. Wang Yi gave one to Wang Chun and then saluted with his fists. "Thank you, Brother Yi. If you don't have any plans, how about we go deeper together?" He admired Emo's power, and it would be good if they could go together. Jin Bingyu didn't leave and waited on the side. Emo smiled and saluted with his fists. "Brother Wang, I can't go with you. I found a low-grade immortal well down there, so I want to cultivate here for a while." Emo knew he couldn't hide it from them, so he admitted it. He didn't say it was a hidden immortal well or there might be a battle. Now that Yemo said this, they understood. It was good, but they wouldn't fight over it with Yemo for it. Seeing Jinbingyu waiting on the side, he saluted with his fists. In that case, I'll be going first. Perhaps we'll meet again somewhere in here. Then the two left. Martial's sister Bingyu, thank you for your reminder and saving my life once. Yemo thanked. No need, Jinbingyu said, but she didn't leave. Yemo felt strange. Where was that Hai Chuanwu? Why wasn't he by her side? If you have nothing else I'm going to cultivate, I just found a low-grade immortal well. Yemo repeated, but she didn't leave. How was he to cultivate? After she left, he would set up a stealth, defense, and even an attack formation. Jinbingyu could tell Yemo was implying for her to leave, so she could only say, Pill Master Yi, you said you were a level 4 immortal pill great master at the sect. Yemo heard this and immediately realized what she wanted. If it was before, he would agree without hesitation because she saved her. But ever since seeing the Freedom King, Yemo's attitude changed. He felt that the reason he hadn't been caught was because his power was too low and he came into contact with low-level cultivators. If he suddenly became an immortal pill great master, many great immortals would come to him. If that was the case, he wouldn't be able to keep his secret. He even regretted helping Feng Chunmo. Yemo rejected without hesitation. Martial's sister Bingyu, you should know that I said that intentionally. Gong Sunjiu is a love rival. Of course I'm going to ridicule him. If I was really a level 4 immortal pill great master, I would tell Nianmei's father straight up. Would I need to compete? Jinbingyu thought and agreed. If Yemo was truly a level 4 immortal pill great master, he wouldn't even need to compete. If the sect leader knew the son-in-law was level 4 immortal pill great master, he wouldn't even be able to stop laughing. How could he not agree? Jinbingyu sighed in disappointment. Gong Sunin was a level 5 immortal pill great master. Even if he tried to concoct the snow wing pill, he might fail. She only had one. In that case, goodbye. Jinbingyu saluted with her fists and was about to leave. Yemo felt ashamed rejecting someone who saved him, but he wouldn't promise to help because of this. This concerned his life. After walking about 10 meters, Jinbingyu suddenly turned back and asked, Are you a body refinement immortal? Yemo didn't hide this. Everyone could tell after that battle. That's right, I'm a body refinement cultivator. I haven't reached body refinement immortal yet. Yemo answered. Only after nirvana was one considered a body refinement immortal. Then where did you get your body refinement cultivation method? Jinbingyu's eyes lit up. He thought she would ask what state he was, but instead she asked this. Yemo answered. In a rare opportunity, one got a jade slip and there was a body refinement cultivation method there. Jinbingyu said without hesitation. Then can you copy one for me? Name your price. If I don't have enough immortal crystals, you can give me a part, and I'll give you more when I get back to the sect. Yemo looked at Jinbingyu in confusion. Such a beautiful female cultivator wanted body refinement? Yemo had been through body refinement. How could he not know that body refinement required one to be naked and facing life and death in terrifying conditions? If Jinbingyu cultivated body refinement, would she be like this? Yemo suddenly felt he was too shameless. He subconsciously patted his head. Seeing Yemo not talk and just slap his head, Jinbingyu frowned and asked again. If it's not okay, then never mind. Of course I can, but you saved me, so I don't need immortal crystals. My body refinement cultivation method only reaches immortal spirit body primary stage, Yemo said. There was extreme surprise and joy in Jinbingyu's eyes. She didn't expect Yemo had an immortal spirit body refinement cultivation method. Body refinement cultivation methods weren't abundant even in the immortal realm. Chapter 1580, Lust in the Eyes of the Ice Girl. Chapter 1580, Lust in the Eyes of the Ice Girl. I want it, Jinbingyu said without hesitation. Clearly Yemo's body refinement cultivation method was not ordinary. Cultivating to immortal spirit body primary stage was enough for Jinbingyu. How many in the immortal realm could reach immortal spirit body? Emo nodded and took out a blank jade slip writing down all his body refinement cultivation method. As for the body refinement cultivation method after immortal spirit body, it wasn't that Emo couldn't calculate it, but he wanted to do it after he reached immortal spirit body. That way, the cultivation method would be more perfect. Pill Master Yi, thank you. How many immortal crystals for this cultivation method? Jin Bingyu just scanned it casually and rejoiced. She came from a big sect. She knew Emo's body refinement cultivation method wasn't ordinary. Emo waved his hand. I've said that this body refinement cultivation method is for saving my life. Don't worry about the immortal crystals, I will take it the next time we have a deal. Jin Bingyu carefully put the jade slip away and bowed to Emo. Martial Brother Yi, thank you. This was the first time she called Emo Martial Brother. Clearly she was very grateful to Emo for giving her the cultivation method. Seeing that Emo had no intention to speak, she said, Martial Brother Yi, Nianmei and Chunma are both kind-hearted girls. Dao partner dual cultivation is the cultivation of life. One is enough, more would only be harmful. Emo patted his head speechlessly. You've said it once already, I know. Seeing that Emo was annoyed, Jin Bingyu sighed. Martial Brother Yi, you're not old, but your power is absurd, and you're an immortal pill master and a body refinement cultivator. From this it can be seen that your future is limitless. Other than competing, cultivation is also about self-discipline. Lust is just temporary satisfaction. If you hinder your great Tao due to this, you will regret greatly when you wake up. Emo stared dazedly at this extremely beautiful cold woman. He didn't expect her to be so straightforward. This would be embarrassing for most female cultivators, but she said it so naturally. Did your master teach you? Emo suddenly asked after being dazed for a while. Yes, because you don't have a master I am saying this to you, Jin Bingyu said with her never-changing cold face. Emo waved his hand. Thank you? He no longer had the will to talk. This woman only had good looks, but other than that she was cold inside and outside. One could imagine her master must be like her too. This time, she said no more and saluted with her fists before quickly leaving. Soon she disappeared. Seeing her leave, Emo finally breathed easy. He immediately came back to the well and started setting up formations. First was a stealth formation, second was a defense formation, third was a spirit sense barrier formation and an attack formation. There probably wouldn't be any great immortals here. Even if there were, they wouldn't so coincidentally see this pond. 3 days later, Emo finished with the formations and set up another touch activation restriction before taking out the time formation disc. Emo set up the time formation disc and sat on the hidden ice immortal well to start cultivation. Emo devoured the dense immortal spirit chi. That extremely pure immortal spirit chi rapidly washed Emo's meridians, purifying his immortal essence and condensing his essence spirit. Now Emo truly felt the power of three-birth chant. It could digest any element immortal spirit chi to increase his power, from the pure lightning source to the hidden ice immortal well. At the same time, a blue figure passed the rock forest rapidly. This stone forest was the famous Wind Blade Stone Forest in the Chaos Star Realm. It was one of the best body refinement places here. The wind blades were weaker at the border, but the deeper you went it would be filled with more space wind blades and even space blade tornadoes. This blue figure was Jin Bingyu. There weren't many great eternity immortal sects with a body refinement cultivation method until immortal spirit body. Even some status immortal sects wouldn't have such things, and yet Emo just threw one to her. Most body refinement cultivation methods were hard to start, and many cultivators couldn't make the first step in their entire lifetime. So before body refinement, Jin Bingyu was prepared for failure. Jin Bingyu chose a place with space wind blades that weren't very powerful and let the space wind blades hit her body. She didn't stop them and instead used the cultivation method for the first state, bone state. Immediately, she was shook. She ran her immortal essence along the routes, and there wasn't any blockage. In less than 2 minutes, she reached bone state. This body refinement cultivation method is fake? Jin Bingyu frowned, but thinking of Emo, it didn't seem like he gave her a fake. She didn't stop cultivation and continued to practice the cultivation method. 15 minutes later, she found in shock that she was bone state peak stage. How was this possible? Jinbingyu was almost about to curse, reaching bone state peak stage in 15 minutes? Even the best cultivation method and best talent wouldn't be able to do this. Jinbingyu looked at her torn clothes. In a moment she only had a very thin layer of armor, but she wasn't embarrassed at all. She let herself stand naked in the wind blades. That curvaceous body would make anyone admire it, but the blood gashes brought upon by such silky smooth body just seemed more shocking. However, Jinbingyu was frowning and thinking why Yemo gave her a fake body refinement cultivation method. She shook her head and was about to leave, but she found that her body formed a light golden wave as she used the body refinement cultivation method. The injuries instantly recovered. She knew that there would be a golden ripple when one reached bone state peak stage. This situation clearly told her that she reached bone state peak stage. It's real? Jinbingyu looked at the golden ripple and was completely dumbfounded. The golden ripple couldn't completely stop the space wind blades, but it could stop them from cutting open her skin. Jinbingyu couldn't control her excitement anymore. She shakily took out the jade slip Yemo gave her. No wonder Yemo's cultivation was so rapid. His body refinement cultivation method was definitely a treasure of this world. Since he could get this, it meant that he got other things such as his pill concoction skills. Reaching bone state peak stage in 15 minutes, if this cultivation method was spilled, the entire immortal realm would go crazy. Jinbingyu subconsciously shivered and quickly destroyed the jade slip after memorizing it. She had decided to tell Yemo that he must not spill this body refinement cultivation method or he would die. Then, Jinbingyu decided to focus completely on body refinement. 6 days later, Jinbingyu successfully reached fourth state, and she realized that the reason she cultivated so fast was not only due to Yemo's body refinement cultivation method but also because of her abstruse immortal power. After all, her abstruse immortal power meant that her body was far stronger than the 3 master states of body refinement. But even so, she knew this body refinement cultivation method was definitely a treasure. 2 months later, she successfully reached hollow state of the 3 king states. Half a year later, Jinbingyu reached king state peak stage before her cultivation speed slowed down. She knew that it was impossible to reach God state here. She just walked out of the stone forest naked and cleansed her body before putting on clothes. Chapter 1581 Skeleton at the Bottom of the Well. Chapter 1581 Skeleton at the Bottom of the Well. She didn't have much trouble reaching King State Peak stage after this half year of cultivation. She felt that without a good cultivation method, you would be much worse compared to others no matter how hard you tried. Yemo was tortured by the space wind blades and chaos flows before reaching King State, but Jinbingyu was much stronger than Yemo, so she didn't have much trouble reaching King State. As soon as she left the stone forest, she wanted to go find Yemo and tell him he couldn't spill this jade slip. Not long after she left, a figure suddenly dropped from the sky and splat on the ground. Jinbingyu immediately stopped and released her black sword. She knew that the cultivator fell from the sky due to the shadowless vulture ambush. This was why she admired Yemo before. Yemo definitely was powerful to be able to hunt shadowless vultures here. It was a pity she only saved Yemo once and couldn't ask for his cultivation method for this. Half a moment later, Jinbingyu was certain the shadowless vulture was gone before looking at the dead cultivator. He was golden immortal tertiary stage, and his storage ring was gone. Jinbingyu knew that the vulture took it. They were extremely smart. The dead cultivator also had a messenger flying sword, but it wasn't sent out. Jinbingyu scanned it, and immediately saw the message inside. Extreme Star Swamp, 1,000 kilometers west. A Chaos Blue Reed appeared. I am being hunted. Chaos Blue Reed? Jinbingyu's hands shook and almost dropped this flying sword. This was extremely precious, more precious than a level 9 immortal spirit herb. If news got out, people would go crazy. A Chaos Blue Reed could not only allow any immortal to rebuild his body, but the body would be top grade. This was the weakest use of it. If directly consumed, it could allow a great eternity immortal to reach an immortal king. The reason there were so few status immortals in the 33 heavens was because it was too hard to reach. Having immortal crystals and talent alone wasn't enough. To her, she was most excited about it because it was the best immortal spirit herb for body refinement nirvana. But it was too extravagant to use it on nirvana. If one could get the Chaos Blue Reed, no one would want to use it for body refinement. So this meant that when this cultivator found the Chaos Blue Reed, another cultivator found it too. This cultivator tried to notify his friend but was killed to seal off the news. His body was here, so where was the cultivator who hunted him? Jinbingyu frowned and soon guessed that this cultivator wanted to run, and in his desperation could only use his flying magic artifact. That cultivator also chased with flying magic artifact, so they were both killed by Shadowless Vulture. She quickly cast these thoughts aside. She was King State now, and even though God State was hard, she would be able to reach there in a few years' time with Yi Mo's cultivation method. Then, she would be facing body refinement nirvana. She must get the Chaos Blue Reed. Jinbingyu soon made up her mind. She had been in here for a few months and still hadn't gone to the depth because she wanted to get used to this place first. But now she was and reached King State too. It was time to go to the Extreme Star Swamp. After that she would plan to go to level 2 for her trial. She would have to delay warning EMO. She knew about this Extreme Star Swamp. In the Chaos Star realm, you couldn't use Immortal Essence and Spirit Sense in many places. But in the Extreme Star Swamp, the Spirit Sense and Immortal Essence suppression was almost non-existent. You can only rely on your own body. Of course, magic artifacts that didn't require Spirit Sense control were also good. Jinbingyu immediately thought of EMO. To him, this swamp was the best place. His body refinement cultivation was much higher than hers, and looking at his sword ray, it was more like sword technique rather than sword art. But she didn't dare to go call EMO. If there was only one Chaos Blue Reed, she was certain that EMO wouldn't give it to her. She was grateful that EMO gave her body refinement cultivation method, but she still went to the swamp alone without hesitation. After half a year of solitary cultivation, EMO reached Golden Immortal Middle Stage and felt the exhaustion of the Hidden Ice Immortal Well. Another few days later, EMO felt that Immortal Well had completely disappeared before putting away the Time Formation Disc and his formations. The cultivation effect of the Immortal Well was too good, but there was too little. EMO didn't leave immediately. He felt that since the well came below the pond, he should go down and see. Who knew what good things could be down there? When EMO carefully went into the pond, he realized how piercing cold it was. It was on par with the South Peace State's Ice God Forbidden Grounds. The only difference was that you couldn't feel it until you went inside it. When EMO dived for tens of kilometers without reaching the bottom, he felt things weren't right. He slowed down and released his octagonal cauldron. 5 minutes later, EMO saw the bottom of the pond. He even suspected this place was more than 100 kilometers deep. This was the first time he had seen such a deep pond. There was no mud at all at the bottom. Instead, there were flat stone blocks. After walking for about 30 minutes, EMO was getting more and more shocked. Before he went in, the surface of the pond was only about 10,000 square meters, but now, it seemed more than 1,000 times that. This place seemed like a perfectly flat square. EMO searched for hours and found nothing meaningful. Just when he wanted to leave, he found an extremely weak stealth restriction. EMO carefully entered it, and immediately felt an ancient sensation. EMO released Zisu, and carefully scanned his spirit sense around. Moments later he saw what it was. Tens of meters ahead of him sat an immortal. The ancient sensation came from him, but this immortal was just a skeleton now. He was definitely an ancient, powerful being. EMO exclaimed and carefully walked near this immortal. There was a faint golden color emitting from the skeleton. It was in this cold water for countless years, and yet it was completely fine. There was a sliver of black in the front of the bones. The skeleton only had one hand left. Its only hand grabbed a golden staff, but it had no storage ring. EMO carefully scanned his spirit sense on the skeleton. When his spirit sense reached the eyes, a terrifying power seeped out of the eyes. Yemo's body shook and his essence spirit loosened up. He couldn't even control his movement, and took tens of steps back. There Yemo stared at the bones in shock. He clearly felt no life. Why was there such terrifying killing chi? "You're alive?" After a while Yemo asked. There was no reply. There was no reply. Yemo breathed easy. Just what power level was this guy when he lived? He had been dead for all these years, but the remnant chi he had could force a golden immortal middle stage back so many times. This person was definitely countless times stronger than the Freedom King. Yemo's spirit sense fell on that staff. He knew it was definitely a top-grade magic artifact. He was an immortal forgery master but still couldn't tell what level it was. Although Yemo knew the golden skeleton was a priceless treasure, he had no interest in this body. He would take the staff and go. This wasn't a place to stay for long. Thinking about this, Yemo tried to take the staff with his spirit sense. "You're not the fated one." Another extremely powerful force shook him further away. Those words were imprinted in his brain. "Qianbei's essence spirit is still alive?" Yemo asked with uncertainty. If this person even had just a sliver of essence spirit left, he wouldn't be able to get up from here. "Only a status immortal can be fated. Come back after you become a status immortal." That message appeared in his brain. Yemo was certain that the skeleton had sliver of essence spirit left, and quickly bowed. Wanbei was impulsive and broke into Qianbei's solitary cultivation grounds. "Wanbei will leave now and promise not to spill this place out. If in the future you can go to Fan Du Heaven's 9-fan immortal pond and kill Yu Jinxiang for me, I will immediately give you something you really need and another powerful heritage." A message appeared in his mind again. Yemo sneered. Fan Du Heaven was one of the 11 Grand Heaven domains. Going there to kill someone was suicide. Plus, he already had enough good things. The staff was good, but dying for it was not worth it. Plus, this essence spirit didn't even force him to make an oath. Things clearly weren't ordinary. Seeing there was no resistance, Yemo accelerated and quickly left from this broken stealth formation. As soon as he came out, he received another message. "Sigh, you don't even care about the Chaos Blue Reed." Yemo was shook. As an immortal Pilgrade master, he knew what it was better than anyone. It was the best body refinement nirvana immortal spirit herb. Its value wasn't something ordinary level 9 immortal spirit herbs could compare with. Yet this person knew he needed it the most now. If it was some other immortal who was God State peak stage, he definitely would turn back. But Yemo was used to seeing things much better than the Chaos Blue Reed. The Chaos Blue Reed was precious, but since there was life-threatening danger he didn't want to stay here. This essence spirit could send messages in his brain so easily. Even though he wasn't afraid of possession, he didn't want to stay here. Without hesitation, he turned his head back, fleeing with water mobility. The reason he turned back was to confuse the skeleton. Regardless whether skeleton tried to keep him or not, Yemo would leave first out of safety. If that skeleton indeed wanted to attack him trying to get him to go back, perhaps that action might buy a second for him. Indeed, as soon as Yemo used mobility, a powerful spirit sense charged into his octagonal cauldron. Even though Yemo had a spirit sense cultivation method, he felt extremely weak and immediately spat blood. This skeleton indeed wanted to harm him. But that spirit sense could only attack Yemo once, and couldn't keep hunting him anymore. Yemo charged to the side quickly and fell to the ground panting for breath. That was too close. Luckily he was golden immortal middle stage and was vigilant, and wasn't lured by the Chaos Blue Reed. Otherwise he wouldn't just be dead. He was certain that the skeleton used a spirit sense cultivation method, one that was more powerful than his. But Yemo didn't understand why the skeleton didn't attack when he first entered the stealth formation and instead attacked after he left. Yemo sat down after a while and found in shock that his spirit sense was extremely weak and couldn't even recover. Now, he realized why the skeleton didn't attack when he first went in. The skeleton could only use it once, and he saved it for possession. Seeing that he was going, he got worried. More than half of his power was related to spirit sense. What would he do if his sea of consciousness was damaged just due to one attack? This person only had a sliver of essence spirit left, and there was such a distance between them, and in a rush, yet he could still heavily injure his spirit sense. Just how powerful was this person? This cultivator's spirit sense was so powerful, meaning that he had a powerful spirit sense cultivation method. If he was closer, even a great unity immortal cultivator would be killed. Yemo panted. His body was still very weak and his spirit sense was greatly damaged. Now, he couldn't even gather up his immortal essence. He slowly got up. Despite knowing that skeleton couldn't come to the surface, Yemo didn't want to stay here anymore. If he knew there was such a terrifying skeleton below, he wouldn't dare to cultivate here for half a year. Luckily, he had many corner soul weeds. He couldn't take them out now, but if he recovered a little spirit sense, he could. He needed to find a place to recover his spirit sense now. He couldn't use his spirit sense, so he couldn't connect to the golden page world and go in. Yemo was very careful. He knew that there was a huge blue rock on the way he came and there was only 5 minutes distance to it. As long as he got near there, he would be able to hide inside, recover some of his sea of consciousness, and go into the golden page world and use corner soul weeds. Yemo only walked out for less than 15 minutes when a blue figure rapidly came over. There was someone chasing behind the blue figure. The blue figure seemed heavily injured. Moments later, that figure was in front of Yemo. When he saw who that cultivator was, Yemo almost cursed. It was that cold-faced Jinbingyu. Her hair was messy and blood was all over her body. When he saw her, she also saw him. There was surprise and joy in her eyes, and she quickly said, "Martial brother, ye please help." Yemo carefully moved to the side, meaning, "Keep running, this has nothing to do with me." But Jinbingyu didn't notice at all. She went to Yemo's side and stopped. She released her black sword and hacked over at the chasing abstruse immortal with the sword missed. This was an abstruse immortal middle stage. Jinbingyu was no match for him even if she wasn't injured, but now she was heavily injured. "I'll hold this person here, quickly attack." Jinbingyu thought Yemo would immediately attack as Yemo gave her the impression that he knew when to take the best opportunity. She believed that Yemo would help no matter what. This person was an abstruse immortal middle stage, and if Yemo killed him, his storage ring would be a fortune. Plus, she knew Yemo. But what shook her was that Yemo didn't even move and yelled instead, "Help my ass, what direction can't you run to? Why do you have to run over here? You only haven't seen me for half a year, do you miss me this much? You idiot!" Yemo couldn't not be furious. This was his weakest moment. He was meat on the chopping block, but Jinbingyu brought over such a powerful enemy. And since Jinbingyu was no match for him, after she was killed, he would be next. But now, he couldn't even use his final means and go into the golden page world. How could he not despair? Yemo couldn't not be furious. This was his weakest moment. He was meat on the chopping block, but Jinbingyu brought over such a powerful enemy. And since Jinbingyu was no match for him, after she was killed, he would be next. But now, he couldn't even use his final means and go into the golden page world. How could he not despair? Jinbingyu frowned seeing that Yemo didn't attack, but when Yemo cursed, she felt something wasn't right. At this moment, her sword mist had been broken, and before she could take her sword back, countless dark rays shot over. A huge black dragon magic artifact roared over. Jinbingyu knew that if she was caught by that she would be dead for sure. She didn't have the time to think and released the rainbow cloud stamp. It blocked the area in front of her. She knew it wasn't enough to stop it, but she couldn't care that much anymore. Thud thud, the black rays shot on the rainbow stamp, but even so it couldn't block the rest. With a splurge, a dark ray pierced her right rib and another dark ray shot into Yemo's chest. His body refinement was powerful, but he hadn't gone through nirvana yet. Jinbingyu immediately realized why Yemo called her an idiot. He was heavily injured too, much more serious than her. The cultivator she brought over was going to kill Yemo. Realizing this, Jin Bingyu spat out essence blood and released the rune. The sky rattled heavily and the rune brought about a space windstorm as though about to tear the person caught in it to countless pieces. The abstruse immortal middle stage knew the terrifying power of this rune and immediately released a defense magic artifact while retreating. He didn't believe she would be able to get away. So what if she had a rune? Did she have more? Jin Bingyu took out another rune, however, and spat another mouthful of blood of essence blood. Instant transmission rune. Yemo cursed. After she left with that rune, he would still have to die. Having a great eternity immortal master was good indeed. She even had a rune that only status immortals could make. But he clearly thought too lowly of Jin Bingyu. When she activated the rune, Yemo felt a faint aroma come over and a soft body took him. The next moment, there was a feeling of dizziness. Yemo relaxed a little. He knew his life was saved. In an extremely ordinary cave, Jin Bingyu took Yemo inside with a pale face before setting up a few simple low-level stealth restrictions before sitting down and panting. At this moment, she had used up almost all of her spirit sense and immortal essence. She was very weak due to repeated burning of essence blood. "It was my bad before, sorry. When I came I didn't know you were injured," Jin Bingyu said. Yemo felt a little embarrassed. Not long ago, he called her an idiot, but now she saved him again. Yemo coughed and waved his hand. "Never mind, you saved me. How did you offend such a powerful guy? Even if I wasn't injured, I would most likely lose fighting this guy." As he spoke, Yemo pulled the dark ray out from his chest while thinking whether he should ask for some pills from her. What shook him was that Jin Bingyu changed her clothes in front of him. That blue dress was quickly taken off. She seemed to be about to take off her inner clothes. Of course Yemo wasn't going to look, but Jin Bingyu didn't seem to intend to avoid him at all. After the blue dress was gone, there was an extremely thin inner armor made with heaven meridian worm's silk, but that shockingly curvaceous body and silky white skin was revealed. The sturdy 2 hills in front of her chest were half revealed too. If this woman wasn't always cold and never flirted, Yemo would almost think she was trying to seduce him. "Wait!" Yemo stopped her. Seeing her turn back, Yemo coughed. "Martial sister Bingyu, you don't avoid people when you change clothes?" Hearing this, Jin Bingyu frowned and said coldly, "It's just a body, nothing worth avoiding. If you almost succumb to this corporal lust, you will forever be like this. Your body refinement cultivation method is indeed powerful, but your cultivation level is only, Jin Bingyu stared at Yemo in shock. "You reached golden immortal middle stage in half a year, how is that possible?" Then, as though thinking of something, she nodded. "The cultivation method heritage you got is very substantial, if you focus on the pursuit of Tao." Then she shook her head as though knowing that Yemo wouldn't be able to do that. Mu Wuxuan was that powerful, but he was still ganged up and killed. If he focused on his Tao, would this happen? She didn't try to persuade Yemo anymore and continued to take off her inner clothes. She used a cleansing spell before taking out a new set and changed into it in front of Yemo. "I know your heritage is very powerful, but what I need to tell you is that you must not spill it, or you will be dead for sure." She finally realized why this woman knew he came out with Feng Chunma but still acted so calm. To her it was just corporal lust. It wasn't that she didn't understand the things between men and women, but she didn't care. She knew how to protect herself. Facing a goddess with such a beautiful face and body, Yemo suddenly felt at a loss. "So this means you would be willing if someone wants to sleep with you?" Yemo suddenly really wanted to know if she would agree. Jin Bingyu had finished changing her clothes and sneered. "Keep dreaming. I'm not someone as innocent as Feng Chunma. I would never give my virginity essence chi to someone." Jin Bingyu looked at Yemo in contempt. "Do you do this often in front of other people? Do you do this out in the open?" Yemo asked. "Would you change your clothes on the streets when you're heavily injured?" "Idiot, I'm changing here because you're more injured than me and you can't do anything to me," Jin Bingyu cursed back. Yemo was completely speechless. This female cultivator seemed extremely cunning and was much more persistent in cultivation than most cultivators. Was she really an emotionless goddess? Yemo felt a little strange. Perhaps she thought her perception was correct. True, the body was just flesh and bones, but many cultivators came from being immortal and couldn't change their perspective. But Yemo immediately shook his head. He felt if he really reached Jin Bingyu's state it would be sad. He would rather die of old age than be like Jin Bingyu. Nothing else mattered except for reaching the top of Tao. "Can you lend me some pills?" Yemo asked. Jin Bingyu nodded and gave a jade bottle to Yemo. "When you recover we can do a deal." Yemo ate a few pills and finally recovered some spirit sense. Then he took out his pills without hesitation and ate them in big handfuls. His pills were much better than hers, all top grade or extreme grade. The power of the three-birth chant was shown. Yemo felt his immortal essence and sea of consciousness recover rapidly. But Yemo felt there was a shadow in his sea of consciousness that gave him an extreme sense of danger. Then, Yemo took out a few formation flags and looked at Jin Bingyu. "I need to change clothes too, but my state isn't as high as yours. I need to set up a stealth formation." Jin Bingyu's face was cold, and she closed her eyes to cultivate. Yemo didn't care. Yemo threw down tens of formation flags, and when his figure disappeared, Jin Bingyu suddenly got up and murmured, "He's a level 2 immortal formation master? How is there someone this insane?" After Yemo went in the stealth formation, he immediately took out a jade white dark weed and started repairing his spirit sense and sea of consciousness. After Yemo went in the stealth formation, he immediately took out a jade white dark weed and started repairing his spirit sense and sea of consciousness. Only now did he feel the true power of the dark weed. His sea of consciousness was being repaired rapidly. It was many times better than pills. Yemo was shaken. He didn't feel the corner soul weed was anything special when his sea of consciousness was fine. But now that it was injured he realized why it was so precious. If he concocted it into the dual spirit pill, wouldn't the effect be even better? Dual spirit pills were level 6 immortal pill. Yemo had decided to concoct them as soon as he reached level 6 immortal pill grade master. After more than half of his sea of consciousness was repaired, a black dot appeared in his sea of consciousness. Yemo was shaken. He didn't even notice a skeleton who was about to die plant a mark in his sea of consciousness. If he didn't have corner soul weeds and other pills, it would be countless years before he could repair his sea of consciousness. After that, who knew what would happen? Perhaps the spirit sense mark would have fused with his spirit sense. Would that skeleton know everything he thought by then? If that was really the case, then if that skeleton revived or possessed someone else, he would be caught anywhere. Thinking about this, Yemo was covered in cold sweat. He quickly forced out that dark shadow and sealed it with layers of restrictions before sealing it in a jade box. Then, he carefully sealed the jade box in the golden page world. Yemo didn't destroy it. He never liked to take such things passively. He would pay the skeleton back in the future. After this, Yemo quickly stripped himself naked and burned everything with Miss Lotus Heart fire before searching all over his body with it. Only when he was certain there were no more marks left did he feel assured. At the same time, he felt an increasingly desperate need for power. Just when Yemo was about to put on his clothes, Jin Bingyu suddenly charged in. Yemo was dazed but then quickly put on his clothes and stared coldly at Jin Bingyu. "I know your Tao heart is different than mine, but my body isn't just flesh and bones. I've set up a stealth formation. Don't you think you should ask before you come in?" Jin Bingyu said expressionlessly. "When you reach the great Tao you will realize that what I said is true. Body is just flesh and bones, that's it. Plus, I came in for a reason. That abstruse immortal middle stage just passed here not far away." "How do you know?" Yemo asked. His body hadn't fully recovered yet. If that guy caught up, it would be very dangerous. "I didn't get to take back my black sword and rainbow stamp. He is using them to sense my location." He didn't notice before, but if he passes here again he will. Jin Bingyu said calmly. "Why does he have to kill you?" Yemo asked with a frown. "I will tell you when you recover. This also concerns our future cooperation." Jin Bingyu nodded. Yemo was helpless and could only continue his recovery. Half an hour later, his wounds had pretty much recovered. Now he breathed easy. Even if that abstruse immortal middle stage came now, he wasn't scared. He then said to Jin Bingyu, "I'm going to set up a formation now. When I'm finished, make that trash formation you set at the cave. At least it will allow him to be able to sense you. You want to draw that abstruse immortal over and trap him with a formation?" Jin Bingyu immediately knew what Yemo meant and didn't feel unhappy at Yemo for calling her formation trash. Yemo laughed. "That's right, I didn't do anything and this bastard hit me. I don't like it, I'm going to get him back." Hearing this, Jin Bingyu sighed. "It seems I was correct, my master overestimated you. You're not mature indeed, you're very impetuous, you're still not over something this small. No matter how powerful your heritage is, you won't be able to achieve the great Tao." Small thing? Yemo looked speechlessly at this woman. He was almost killed and this was small. There was nothing in common between them. Yemo couldn't be bothered talking to her and started setting up formation flags. She clearly knew something about formations and was surprised looking at the way Yemo set them up. This was because she couldn't see them with her spirit sense after Yemo set them up. Half an hour later, Yemo finished a stealth attack formation. Now, he just needed to wait for the abstruse immortal to come over and die. "Which cultivation realm did you ascend from?" There was still no sign of that abstruse immortal, so he asked Jin Bingyu this question. "I'm not an immortal ascension cultivator. I was with my master at the extreme sword sect ever since I was young." Jin Bingyu shook her head and said. Yemo was a little confused. Even if she was an immortal realm cultivator, there were no female cultivators who had the same perceptions as her. "You want to ask why I don't care about the things between men and women, right?" Jin Bingyu was very smart. Seeing Yemo not talk, she sneered. "If you want to say I'm shameless, be straightforward. You don't understand my Tao heart, it's pointless to tell you. Of course, if you can show me your formation jade slips so that I can easily set up a stealth formation, I would do it too." Yemo sneered and couldn't be bothered talking to her. Her wits weren't small either, and she wanted to use this opportunity to get his formation jade slip. Who did she think she was? He gave her the body refinement jade slip because she saved him before. Although she saved him just now, she brought the danger here too. Seeing Yemo ignore her, Jin Bingyu didn't care. She knew that Yemo wouldn't agree anyways. But the body refinement cultivation method Yemo gave her was too powerful. If Yemo's formation jade slip was this powerful, then she would soon become an immortal formation master too. She didn't really intend to use Yemo. The two didn't talk anymore. The silence didn't last for a few minutes before a spirit sense scanned into the cave and a dashing light came. It was that abstruse immortal middle stage indeed. Jin Bingyu changed the formation a little and that person sensed the two here. Sensing this abstruse immortal's ferocious chi, Yemo knew that if he didn't use his formation, he wouldn't be a match for this guy if he was still golden immortal primary stage. But now, he was golden immortal middle stage and had this formation. He believed he would be able to easily kill this abstruse immortal middle stage. The abstruse immortal came to the cave, but didn't come in immediately. He threw out some formation flags and sealed the space nearby, fearing that Jin Bingyu would use an instant transmission rune again. He looked at the cave for a while. That golden immortal primary stage was nothing, but this woman was quite powerful. He had to ensure there was no danger here. But now Jin Bingyu was looking at Yemo in shock. He controlled his power to be golden immortal primary stage and she couldn't tell at all. That meant if Yemo was an abstruse immortal and kept his power at golden immortal primary stage, she still wouldn't be able to tell. The abstruse immortal checked around and didn't find anything before smirking and coming in. His black dragon magic artifact was spinning above his head. The dragon above his head roared. The dragon above his head roared. This wasn't Yemo's first time seeing such a magic artifact. It was made with a beast's soul. Such magic artifacts had an artifact spirit that couldn't grow, but it was much stronger than ordinary magic artifacts without an artifact spirit. The sound made by this black dragon was heavy and powerful. Attack! The abstruse immortal cultivator didn't look at Emo anymore and just stared at Jin Bingyu before roaring. The black dragon morphed into black lightning and shot out. It formed a 3-meter-long grinder above Jin Bingyu. If it wasn't that this cave was too small, it definitely would be bigger. At the same time, there was a buzzing sound in the abstruse immortal's body. Black rays shot from his body. Emo sneered. He was injured by this before. Before that dark ray could shoot up, he threw out his formation flag. The instant the formation closed, the abstruse immortal cultivator felt it. He wasn't good at formations, but he could tell he was trapped. He finally realized why Jin Bingyu took this small golden immortal primary stage when she ran. He was an immortal formation master. But he didn't care even though he was trapped. He pushed with his dark rays, but soon he noticed something was wrong. They disappeared in the small cave hole. That huge black dragon magic artifact was also stopped by the formation and didn't do any damage to the abstruse immortal female cultivator. Not only that, the black dragon wouldn't be able to help him for a while. The abstruse immortal immediately realized that Emo was an immortal formation master who knew very well how to use formations to fight. He had to kill this golden immortal insect first. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to do anything while trapped here. Just when he thought of this, that black dragon rattled and smashed over at Emo's formation. But as soon as it did, the abstruse immortal immediately noticed a powerful killing force coming his way. He didn't even notice this before. He was very familiar with this killing force. He had fought with Jin Bingyu more than once. It was another magic artifact that she could control. Each time this woman attacked, he could feel it beforehand, but now he only sensed it when it was before him. This must be due to this formation. He quickly took back his black dragon to block Jin Bingyu's blue flute. At this moment, this abstruse immortal didn't care about Jin Bingyu at all. When the black dragon blocked Jin Bingyu, he charged over at Emo like crazy and smashed a rune over. He felt very embarrassed to use a rune against the golden immortal cultivator, but he knew clearly that if he didn't kill this immortal formation master, it would be hard for him to even stay alive, much less win. This small golden immortal primary stage posed a much greater threat to him than this abstruse immortal primary stage female cultivator. Rumble! The rune exploded on Emo's formation, rattling the space nearby. The space of the Chaos Star realm didn't seem as stable as outside. The abstruse immortal cultivator realized that his rune only rattled Emo's formation a little and did nothing. The golden immortal primary stage wasn't in the blast radius at all. Before he could release his magic artifact, another faint light swept over. It wasn't that woman, it should be the golden immortal. The abstruse immortal released a low-grade immortal artifact and grabbed at the direction the faint light came from. Emo sneered. A mere abstruse immortal middle stage who was in his formation dared to try and grab him with his hands. He threw out a few more formation flags and Zisu struck the abstruse immortal cultivator's shield. Crack! The abstruse immortal didn't expect Emo's immortal essence was this strong. His shield was hacked away without him using it at full power. A small crack even ran down the middle. "You're not golden immortal primary stage." As soon as he said this, a blood light flashed, and Zisu hacked into his chest. The abstruse immortal was shook. He was heavily injured now and wanted to run without hesitation. From that clash, he could feel that Emo's immortal essence was even a little stronger than abstruse immortal primary stage. He was trapped in a formation and faced two abstruse immortals. This was asking to die. As soon as the abstruse immortal turned, countless invisible sword rays shot out of the formation and surrounded him. The abstruse immortal activated the huge black dragon like crazy, wanting to use it to charge out of the cultivation home. However, he wouldn't be able to get out of Emo's trap formation quickly. He knew he shouldn't have come inside. If he wasn't in the formation, he wouldn't fear this immortal formation master. There was a terrifying pressure coming from the black dragon. Emo knew this guy was about to detonate his magic artifact to get out. A magic artifact with an artifact spirit had even more terrifying detonations. How could Emo let him detonate his magic artifact? He circulated his immortal essence and spirit sense like crazy as Zisu burst out. The purple went from faint to dense in less than half a second and hacked down from the abstruse immortal's head. The abstruse immortal didn't even have time to release his explosion rune and was cut in half by Zisu. Seeing Emo kill this abstruse immortal middle stage in such a short time with the formation, there was a sliver of shock in Jinbingyu's eyes. She knew Emo would win, but didn't expect the win to be this clean. After this abstruse immortal died, his essence spirit seemed to have been devoured by a black shadow. She didn't even see what it was. From this, it was clear that Emo still had trump cards he didn't use. Jinbingyu went up to that cultivator and took her black sword. Emo took the formation flags and easily broke the restrictions on the storage ring. However, Emo was greatly disappointed. There were only about 500,000 immortal crystals. An abstruse immortal was this poor? But soon Emo realized what happened. There were a few bottles of level 3 immortal pills and quite some level 4 immortal spirit herbs and materials. Seeing Jinbingyu look at him, he quickly found her rainbow stamp and threw it back to her. Seeing her take it, Emo was about to leave here. Wait, I said there was something we can collaborate on. Are you willing? Jinbingyu suddenly stopped Emo. What is it? Emo asked plainly. Jinbingyu said, I know a place with chaos blue reeds if you're willing. Emo suddenly looked coldly at her. That's exactly what the skeleton that almost killed him said. What did she mean by saying this now? Emo was ready to release Zisu at any time. If this woman dared to let him go down that pond, he would kill her without hesitation. Feeling Emo's killing intent, Jinbingyu took 2 steps back and frowned. She didn't understand why Emo would have killing intent towards her after he said this. So she watched. If Emo dared to attack, she would protect herself. She was thinking that Emo probably wanted to take it all for himself. Thus, Jinbingyu didn't want to tell Emo anymore. She couldn't get it herself, but she hadn't even said the location, and Emo wanted it all for himself. This made her very uncomfortable. Never mind, I don't want to collaborate with you, Jinbingyu said and was about to leave here. Emo was confused instead. Did he guess wrong? If he did, then this was a missed opportunity. Where is it? Emo couldn't resist asking. I thought only I knew about it, but after I went there I realized that wasn't the case. That abstruse immortal middle stage who tried to kill me was scared of news spreading, so he came to kill me. He had 2 other abstruse immortal primary stage friends who stayed there. Jinbingyu answered. I thought only I knew about it, but after I went there I realized that wasn't the case. That abstruse immortal middle stage who tried to kill me was scared of news spreading, so he came to kill me. He had 2 other abstruse immortal primary stage friends who stayed there. Jinbingyu answered. Hearing this, he immediately asked, How do you want to cooperate? Before that I have 2 conditions, Jinbingyu said upon seeing that Emo's wariness towards her reduced. Emo said plainly. First, the chaos blue reed you mentioned might not exist. Even if it does, we might not get it. Second, you don't need to tell me your conditions. I won't agree to it before seeing the chaos blue reed. Jinbingyu realized it was pointless to mention the cultivation method again, so she fell into silence. After a while she could only say, Then how would we divide things if we get the chaos blue reed? He knew the chances were slim, but the chaos blue reed was too much of an enticement to Emo. If he found one, he would definitely not want to give it up. He fell silent for a while and said, If there's more than one we can share them evenly. But if there's only one, then there's none for me, right? Jinbingyu sneered, but she was angry. This guy hadn't even got the chaos blue reed and already acted like this. If he got it, then wouldn't he kill her? Emo was lost for words. If there was only one, he really wouldn't know how to split it. I'm already God State peak stage, I'm about to go through nirvana. I need it more desperately than you, so if you help me with this, I will compensate you elsewhere. Emo said helplessly. Jinbingyu knew Emo's greed and sighed. If she didn't work with him, there was no way she would get the chaos blue reed, but she felt unsatisfied collaborating with him. I'm also King State middle stage. Plus, everyone wants something like the chaos blue reed. You don't need an entire one for body refinement. If there's only one, give half to me, Jinbingyu said without hesitation. Yemo wasn't surprised she reached King State in half a year. She was powerful and the body refinement places here were really good too. Seeing that Yemo didn't talk, she added, if there's only one, I want the top part of the Chaos Blue Reed. I can give the bottom half to you. For something like the Chaos Blue Reed, the lower the part, the more valuable. Yemo nodded. Okay, we'll do that. Now where is the Chaos Blue Reed? It's in the Extreme Star Swamp, 1,000 kilometers west, Jinbingyu said. Yemo released Blue Moon and said to Jinbingyu, get on, let's hurry. Yemo knew this place too. This was the perfect place for him. One couldn't use spirit sense nor immortal essence here. A body refinement cultivator like him had a natural advantage. Jinbingyu got on Blue Moon without hesitation. Yemo controlled Blue Moon while expanding his spirit sense domain out. Blue Moon darted across the sky in a blue figure. It was many times faster than running on the ground. Jinbingyu's face was still very cold, but she envied Yemo quite a lot. Even though she came from a great Eternity Immortal sect, she was like a hillbilly compared to Yemo. Other than her more adamant Tao heart, her cultivation method and capabilities were all lower. Just when Jinbingyu was thinking, Yemo suddenly hacked out with Zisu. A shriek sounded and blood fell. Yemo grabbed a beast core and 2 feathers. Jinbingyu saw a shadowless vulture quickly disappear. Jinbingyu was shook looking at this. The other parts of the shadowless vulture were worth some immortal crystals. This guy was too wasteful. For the first time, Jinbingyu became curious about Yemo. She would never be interested in any cultivators, but she asked this time, are you a cultivator from the cultivation realm? Yes. Yemo nodded. Then someone like you would have quite some doubt partners in the cultivation realm? Jinbingyu asked. She really felt it was a pity that someone this talented couldn't focus on cultivation. Yemo nodded awkwardly, thinking this woman was quite accurate. Jinbingyu knew it was like this and hesitated before saying, your fortune must be astounding. My master said before that Nian Mei didn't deserve you, now I believe it. With your current situation, if you focus completely on cultivation, I believe you can reach the top of Tao. Yemo waved his hand. He didn't want her to remind him. Seeing Yemo lost the interest to talk, Jinbingyu said, I'm just reminding you, whether you listen or not, it's up to you. I just feel pity for that unparalleled heritage of yours. Yemo looked at her plainly and said, then I'll remind you too. If you don't undress yourself in front of a man, you might reach the top of Tao. Listen or not, up to you. I just feel pity for such an extremely beautiful woman. Jinbingyu smiled and said no more. Although she didn't care about her body, this was the only time she undressed herself in front of a male cultivator. This was because she had never teamed up with someone before. Even though she came with Hai Chuanwu, she still chose to trial alone. She was heavily injured this time, and Yemo was in a worse state. There were people hunting then, she wouldn't care about exposing her body. Yemo was dazed. Ever since he met this woman, this was the first time he saw her smile. Her smile was many times prettier than her cold face. Yemo sighed. Thinking that such extremely beautiful woman took her clothes off casually in front of other people, and how her body had been seen by countless people, there was a sense of disgust in Yemo's heart. You are disgusted by me? Jinbingyu scanned and saw the disgust in Yemo's heart. Haha, we're here. Yemo still needed to collaborate with her. Of course he couldn't admit it. Looking down, the extreme star swamp was shrouded in what seemed like mist or chaos chi. There were many immortals here, from golden immortal to abstruse immortal. There were constantly more cultivators coming over. In half a day, there would be more than 2,000 here. This is your private news? Yemo looked at Jinbingyu in confusion. A sliver of awkwardness appeared on Jinbingyu's face. When I left, there was not a single person here. Now that so many came, the Chaos Blue Reed must have been exposed. Yemo got off from Blue Moon and many immortals saw it. They all turned around. There were people flying in here. but it was usually abstruse immortal cultivators with a top-grade defense magic artifact. When they saw it was only a golden immortal primary stage landing, they were shocked. Golden immortal primary stages could fly in here? But then they saw Jinbingyu behind him, who was an abstruse immortal. Yemo didn't like Jinbingyu seeing that he was golden immortal middle stage, so he hid his power back to golden immortal primary stage, as many of the cultivators here knew he was golden immortal primary stage. I know that golden immortal cultivator. No one wanted to team up with him, but in the end he got to the asteroid door himself. A golden immortal primary stage past the heaven domain void, are you sure? It's true, I saw it too. He not only crossed it but also killed more than 10,000 level 2 and level 3 3-feet wolves. Everyone discussed and soon determined Yemo to be a master who could fight beyond his level. Thus, no cultivators dared to scan Yemo with spirit sense. Everyone discussed and soon determined Yemo to be a master who could fight beyond his level. Thus, no cultivators dared to scan Yemo with spirit sense. Martial sister Bingyu. A joyful voice sounded. Yemo and Jun Bingyu looked at Hai Wuchuan at the same time. Seeing Yemo next to Jun Bingyu, Hai Wuchuan's eyes flashed with discomfort. He didn't expect she rejected to go with him, and instead went with Yemo. But that sliver of discomfort quickly disappeared and he sped up to them. Martial sister Bingyu, did you hear there was Chaos Blue Reed here? Hai Wuchuan asked immediately. Jun Bingyu nodded. Yes, how did you know? I heard that a golden immortal cultivator got his friend's messenger flying sword and immediately knew his friend was killed due to this. In his fury, he spread this everywhere. I think half of the cultivators here know now. Many more are still coming over. Hai Wuchuan said. Martial sister Bingyu, didn't you say you were going to trial alone? Why are you with Pill Master Yi? Hai Wuchuan felt that Jun Bingyu wouldn't be interested in Yemo, and she said to him that she didn't want a doubt partner, but these few times he saw her, she was with Yemo. Jun Bingyu said. I happened to see Martial Brother Yi here, so we came together. Pill Master Yi, I didn't expect you could cross the heaven domain void alone. I wanted to greet you at the time, but you left too quickly. Hai Wuchuan realized that Jun Bingyu changed from calling Yemo Pill Master Yi to Martial Brother Yi, but he still smiled. So it's Martial Brother Hai. Hai Wuchuan was polite, and Yemo couldn't say much. Seeing Yemo not interested in talking, Hai Wuchuan said to Jun Bingyu again. I heard that the Chaos Blue Reed is 1,000 kilometers west of here. These people are going over in teams. There might be conflict if it's found. One can't use spirit sense and immortal essence in the extreme star swamp. Why don't us two find 2 more abstruse immortal cultivators and go together? Jun Bingyu said apologetically to Hai Wuchuan. Sorry, Martial Brother Wu, I'm grouped with Martial Brother Yi. Hai Wuchuan looked at Yemo in confusion and then said to Jun Bingyu. But Martial Sister Bingyu, Pill Master Yi is only golden immortal power. If... Jun Bingyu's face was getting colder and colder. She didn't like talking about the same thing again and again. Hai Wuchuan clearly knew her character, and seeing her annoyance he immediately stopped and said again. Then I'll join your team. Teams are usually 4 to 6 people. Before he finished, he was interrupted by Jun Bingyu again. Martial Brother Wu, just Brother Yi and I are fine. You can find someone else to team up with. We'll be going inside first. Yemo didn't care about what Hai Wuchuan said. He knew that Jun Bingyu would definitely not team up with Hai Wuchuan. He noticed that a lot of immortals were making magic artifacts. Just when he didn't know why they were doing so, Jun Bingyu had gone in already. Seeing this, Yemo immediately followed. There were water ditches and weeds everywhere as well as some small hills. Yemo immediately felt the suppression of spirit sense and immortal essence when he came here. This wasn't a complete suppression. An extremely small amount of immortal essence could be used and spirit sense could only see around 10 meters. One might as well use their eyes. But this little immortal essence was like nothing. They didn't even have Qi gathering level 5 power. One could only use magic artifacts at such a power level. Yemo realized why body refinement cultivators here had the advantage. In such places, Golden Immortal could definitely challenge great immortals. He also realized why people were making magic artifacts: it was to fly. Despite this, no one really used magic artifact to fly, it was just for backup. There were few shadowless vultures here, but it didn't mean there were none. 1,000 kilometers wasn't far. Despite being suppressed to chi-gathering middle stage, they were still very fast. Plus, it was just suppression, it didn't mean that the rest of their immortal essence was gone. Cultivators could run like this for a few years without tiring at all. Yemo wasn't going to run. He released his top-grade flying magic artifact and said to Jinbingyu, "Get on." Jinbingyu realized now the benefit of cooperating with Yemo. Everyone else had to run, but they could fly. Many cultivators saw Yemo dare to use his flying magic artifact and all looked contemptuous. But Yemo didn't care. He sped up the flying magic artifact. Yemo didn't waste time on the ship. He used the 3-birth chant to see if he could release some of his suppressed immortal essence. Yemo was just testing, but what shocked him was that his immortal essence immediately started to be released. Even his spirit sense started to recover slowly. Yemo was overwhelmed with shock. The 3-birth chant was too insane. In a place where even immortal emperors couldn't resolve the problem of suppression, he could recover some of his immortal essence. Who would be able to beat him here? What happened to you? Jinbingyu's power was suppressed, but it didn't lower her senses. Yemo smiled. I'm still a little injured. I'm going to slow the ship down. Okay, but watch out for shadowless vultures. Jinbingyu nodded. How about this? Let's stop at a quiet place, and once I recover, we'll go. Yemo asked. He didn't want Jinbingyu to see that he could recover his power. But he couldn't give this flying magic artifact to Jinbingyu. After all, shadowless vultures here wouldn't be suppressed. Jinbingyu frowned but still agreed. Yemo clearly said he had pretty much recovered, so why did he need to recover now? Yemo changed the direction the ship went, and found some brush to sit in. He threw down a few stealth formations and a few defense formations discs. Jinbingyu could only watch Yemo do this. Seeing that Yemo still used stealth formation disc, she felt very contemptuous. Yemo immediately used 3-birth chant at full power inside the stealth formation disc. His immortal essence and spirit sense grew rapidly. Soon, he was foundation establishment state. 5 minutes later, he was body condensation state power. 15 minutes later, Yemo's power recovered to golden immortal primary stage. Half an hour later, Yemo completely recovered his power. Yemo got out in joy. Can we go now? Jinbingyu asked plainly. Of course, I'm fully recovered, let's go. Yemo really wanted to show off and release Blue Moon, but he knew if he did, he would die for sure. Unless he could kill whoever saw him on Blue Moon, the powerful beings of the 11 Grand Heaven Domains might come for him. This time, Yemo released a middle-grade flying magic artifact. Seeing Yemo use a worse one, Jinbingyu looked strangely at Yemo but still said nothing. 15 minutes later, they arrived 1,000 kilometers west of Extreme Star Swamp. After getting off, he saw that this place was filled. Seeing nearly 2,000 cultivators look for the Chaos Blue Reed, Yemo knew the hopes were slim. With this many immortals searching here, even a needle would be found. With this many immortals searching here, even a needle would be found. Yemo didn't scan with his spirit sense. The case Blue Reed wasn't a needle and he wasn't blind. There were so many people here, if someone found the case Blue Reed, it would be very obvious. There was only endless water ditches here and some small hills. At an ordinary place like this, even low-level immortal spirit herbs would be hard to find, much less the Chaos Blue Reed. I think we've been tricked. How can there be a Chaos Blue Reed here? There's no immortal spirit chi here. Everyone think about it. What sort of thing is the Chaos Blue Reed? Can it appear at the outskirts of the Extreme Star Swamp? Some cultivators asked. There's Chaos Blue Reed here. My friend definitely wouldn't lie. If he lied, he wouldn't have been killed. One golden immortal peak stage immediately said. Only now did everyone realize that this person spread the news. If he spread fake news, he wouldn't be coming here himself. Did you remember wrong? We didn't find anything. No, my friend remembered clearly that there was a huge water ditch 1,000 kilometers west of Extreme Star Swamp. See, there's a huge water ditch here. My friend said the Chaos Blue Reed was to the side of or inside the water ditch. Then, almost everyone looked at the huge water ditch. Was the Chaos Blue Reed really in here? Splash! Someone had already jumped in, wanting to check if it was in there. Seeing the water ripples, Emo suddenly thought of something. He realized what happened. He had been to deserts, and knew there would be mirages there. Was the Chaos Blue Reed that cultivator saw a mirage too? This meant that there was definitely a Chaos Blue Reed, but it wasn't here. There might be some sudden light that reflected the Chaos Blue Reed here. Emo knew the actual place might be really far from here. Thinking about this, Emo was planning to leave. Just as that immortal said, there was no way Chaos Blue Reed would be here. The Extreme Star Swamp was boundless, but he had recovered his power. He had some hope of finding it. Emo said to Jin Bingyu, "Since there's no Chaos Blue Reed here, I'm going other places here for a spin. Martial Sister Bingyu, let's split off here." Good luck, Martial Sister Bingyu. However, when he turned around, Jin Bingyu followed him. "There's definitely no Chaos Blue Reed here. Why are you still following me?" Emo asked in confusion. Before Jin Bingyu could reply, a voice sounded. "I know what's going on. It's definitely a mirage." "That's right, mirage. Yeah, how come I didn't think of it?" Some cultivators clapped. Now, most cultivators here realized what was going on. Emo felt his nose. As soon as he thought of it, someone else did too. Now, Jin Bingyu probably thought he wanted to do it alone. Indeed, Jin Bingyu looked coldly at Emo. "You knew this was a mirage, so you wanted to avoid me, right?" "Yes, indeed. But now that you know, then let's go if you still want to team up with me." Emo admitted it. Jin Bingyu said nothing and followed Emo without hesitation. She knew that in here, Emo was much more powerful than her. This was the Chaos Blue Reed, so she wasn't going to go alone. Realizing this was a mirage, many immortals started going around searching. "Where do we go?" Jin Bingyu looked at Emo and asked. "Where there is dense immortal spirit chi." Emo flew even faster. When he left the crowded place, he changed to a top-grade flying magic artifact and brought the speed to max. 5 days later, Jin Bingyu finally couldn't resist it anymore and said, "We can't keep going in. My power has been suppressed to almost nothing. I can only use my own bodily power. I'm weaker than an ordinary martial artist." "There are martial artists in Immortal Realm?" Emo asked. "Did you think the lowest in the Immortal Realm are all hollow immortal?" Jin Bingyu asked coldly. "No, I've seen some disaster transformation state and truth realization states. I just didn't expect there were martial artists. There are not only martial artists, but if they cultivate to the extreme, they are no weaker than status immortals. It's just that we haven't touched their world yet. In here, martial artists are the most suited. Their power wouldn't be suppressed at all. Why do no martial artists come? Because powerful martial artists don't care about it, and low-level martial artists can't make it here." Emo nodded and said slowly, "I'm going to search further in. If Martial Sister Bingyu doesn't want to team up with me, I can give you my magic artifact. I have some spirit stones here, you can have them too. This way, you can still leave here." "You want me to die?" Jin Bingyu's tone grew cold. Emo had killed 3 shadowless vultures on the way here. Telling her to go back was telling her to die. "Then stop talking. Since we're a team, you go where I go," Emo said. Jin Bingyu's face was ice cold, but she couldn't be bothered saying anything to Emo. The two didn't talk, but Emo's flying magic artifact was getting faster and faster. Eventually, he even changed to an extreme-grade magic artifact. Jin Bingyu felt her power was being suppressed more and more, but she said nothing. She was suspicious of Emo theoretically. The further they went, the more they would be suppressed, and the flying magic artifact should be slower. But Emo was getting faster and faster. He even changed his top-grade magic artifact to an extreme-grade magic artifact. Seeing the top-grade spirit stones attached in the extreme-grade flying magic artifact, she realized what was going on. People could forge extreme-grade magic artifacts here, but where would they get top-grade spirit stones? Other than a rare few immortals, most immortals wouldn't prepare spirit stones. The worst they had were low-grade immortal crystals. But in here, spirit stones were useful. 2 days later, Emo suddenly stopped. He looked at the purple in front of him, and fire popped out of his eyes. 6-winged purple radish, Jin Bingyu called out in shock. She fought with 2 abstruse immortals over 4 before, but now there were 100. She even heard Emo gulp. She looked back at Emo and shook her head. This pill master Yu was too lacking in maturity. The 6-winged purple radish was indeed very valuable, but as an immortal, he was about to drool when seeing good things. He didn't have the mannerism of an immortal at all. It was no wonder he couldn't control himself. What do we do with these? Jin Bingyu asked. 1 to 9. I take 90%, you take 10%, Emo said without hesitation. Emo thought Jin Bingyu wouldn't agree, but unexpectedly she agreed without hesitation. Okay, I agree. Emo thought Jin Bingyu wouldn't agree, but unexpectedly she agreed without hesitation. Okay, I agree. Emo was dazed, but he immediately realized Jin Bingyu couldn't do anything here. Even if he gave her nothing, she could only succumb to fate. Despite realizing this, Emo didn't change his mind. He wasn't going to change his promise. I'll go collect them. Jin Bingyu was very proactive. She knew she pretty much got these for free while doing nothing. As soon as she took 2 steps forward, Emo pulled her, and she fell back. If Emo didn't move back, she would be in Emo's arms. What are you doing? Jin Bingyu asked coldly. She wasn't afraid of Emo insulting her body, but scared that Emo would take her virginity essence. That way, her cultivation would be greatly compromised. Virginity essence was good for cultivation. Plus, her heritage cultivation method had a strict requirement on this. Emo wasn't going to be interested in such a boring woman. He said coldly, "Can't you see what I'm doing?" Without a need for Emo to say anything, Jin Bingyu saw that there were tens of level 2 immortal spirit beasts, and 1 level 3 around the immortal spirit herbs. Swamp tiger crocodile, Jin Bingyu called out in shock. These were immortal spirit beasts in the depths of the swamp. They couldn't fly, but they were extremely fast. Their hide was tough and had immeasurable strength. Their beast essence power wouldn't be limited by the swamp and were much more powerful than ordinary immortal spirit beasts. Even a golden immortal peak stage might not be a match for a level 2 swamp tiger crocodile, much less tens of level 2 swamp tiger crocodiles and 1 level 3. Even though they couldn't fly, cultivators with flying magic artifacts might not be able to get away from them. They could jump 10 meters high, and could join up to form space bindings. Emo knew the value of swamp tiger crocodiles. They didn't have beast cores, but they had beast essence crystals. They were worth much more than beast cores. High-level beast essence cores could be used to concoct some special pills as well as high-level runes. They could even help immortal spirit beast pets break through. The swamp tiger crocodile's skin and bones were top-grade forgery materials. These swamp tiger crocodiles had dispersed, surrounding them. What do we do? Jin Bingyu looked worriedly at Emo. She had used her only instant transmission rune. Emo frowned. He wasn't afraid of them, but if he fought his power would be exposed, and Jin Bingyu was here. But he really couldn't kill her to keep his secret. The swamp tiger crocodiles roared. They were slow, but they didn't stop, probably because they didn't know the two's power yet. What are you thinking about at this moment? Jin Bingyu suddenly asked. Emo knew he wasn't going to die, so of course he thought of nothing. But now that she asked, he thought of Susu, Qingxue, Jingwen and them. Emo's face also appeared in his mind. I'm thinking if I don't die here today, perhaps I might accomplish Master's wish and become a status immortal one day. Jin Bingyu murmured, seeing that Emo didn't answer her. Emo sneered. You won't die today, but if you want to become a status immortal you should wake up. His Tao heart was completely different to Jin Bingyu. He felt the Tao meant experiencing all facets of life. He definitely didn't believe that someone who thought their body was just flesh and bones would reach the top of Tao. Just when Emo was about to attack, laughter sounded. That speed was countless times faster than his extreme-grade flying magic artifact. Good, these swamp tiger crocodiles are trash, but these 106-winged purple radishes are good. My Fong Timos, luck is indeed the best. A gray-robed man appeared. Emo didn't scan him, but from his ferocious chi Emo knew that this man's cultivation level might be much higher than his. A level 2 swamp tiger crocodile heard this and charged over with a roar. That man didn't care at all and punched. Seeing this punch, Emo's eyes narrowed. He clearly saw that space itself was about to condense under this punch. Thud, blood flew, and this level 2 swamp tiger crocodile was punched to a bloody miss by this man. There was no beast essence core nor bones. Emo took in a cold breath. He knew he definitely wouldn't be able to do this. Immortal Nirvana body immortal, Jin Bingyu called out in shock. That Fong Timo looked at Jin Bingyu and suddenly said, Such an exquisite immortal. Good eyes, you can tell that I have an immortal Nirvana body. He then scanned Emo and shook his head. What a waste, he doesn't deserve you. You should be my concubine. Jin Bingyu's face was calm. She didn't seem unhappy at all. Instead, with this man's arrival she might be saved. Emo's face was calm too, but he was shaken that this man was immortal Nirvana body. He could tell this man wasn't immortal Nirvana body primary stage. On top of that, this man was at least great immortal level. A great immortal with immortal Nirvana body refinement. Even if he was a great unity immortal, he could run away from a great eternity immortal. The swamp tiger crocodiles realized the power of this man but didn't want to just retreat like that. Seeing this, the man howled and attacked the swamp tiger crocodiles. Thud, blood mist sprayed in the air. The ferocious swamp tiger crocodiles turned into nothing under this man's punches. That level 3 swamp tiger crocodile was very smart and ran away. The rest of the swamp tiger crocodiles followed. The man didn't chase but looked back at Emo and Jin Bingyu. Emo was feeling that those beast essence crystals would be worth some money. An abstruse immortal primary stage and a golden immortal primary stage dare to come here, the man said coldly. If Qianbei has no other thing, then we'll go first. Jin Bingyu saw that Emo didn't talk, so she spoke. She knew that the 6-winged purple radish wouldn't be theirs. The man waved his hand. You're just going to leave like that after I saved your lives? Then what does Qianbei want? Jin Bingyu didn't know why Emo said nothing. Emo was thinking what his chances of victory would be if he ambushed this man. You stay. On your account he can go. The man nodded. You're very good looking and calm. I like such concubines. Sorry, I won't be your concubine. My Tao heart is firm, no one can stop me from pursuing the great Tao, Jin Bingyu said coldly. You want me to kill you? How can you cultivate without a life? I never force anyone to be my concubine, but I saved you just then. If you don't be my wife, you need to die again. The man sneered. Emo sneered back. Did I ask you to save me? If I say those swamp tiger crocodiles were my beast essence crystals and you just destroyed them all and I want you to compensate, what are you going to do? Jin Bingyu looked at Emo with a face full of shock, not understanding why Emo was aggravating this man. Haha, interesting. Fong Timo laughed but didn't get angry. Haha, interesting. Fong Timo laughed but didn't get angry. He studied Emo. A golden immortal dares to come here and dares to say you didn't ask me to save you, you indeed have balls. But you're right, I did come save you on my own accord. Then thank you Qianbei. Emo saluted with his fists. Since Qianbei doesn't mind, we'll go collect the 6-winged purple radish and leave. Hearing this, Jin Bingyu was even more worried. Emo seemed very cunning, Did he have no awareness of the situation? This Feng Timo was a rather clean person. Since he didn't plan to kill them, they should hurry up and leave. Why did Yemo still want the six-winged purple radish? You still want the six-winged purple radish? Feng Timo also looked at Yemo with disbelief. It was as though he heard the funniest joke in the world. A golden immortal primary stage dared to talk back to him and mention the six-winged purple radish in front of him. Did he really not fear death? Yemo smiled. Look at your words, Qianbei. We found the six-winged purple radish first. We were planning to harvest them, and you came. Do I have to throw down my own things? What logic is that? You have balls. After a long while, Feng Timo spat out these 3 words. He thought that Yemo saw through what character he was, so he dared to say such words. He wasn't very annoyed. He was proud of himself for being a clean character. Now that it was approved by Yemo, how could he not continue to feel good about himself? If it was some ordinary immortal spirit herb, he might really give it up, but he really didn't want to give up the six-winged purple radish. Little did he know that Yemo didn't see through his character, but that he wasn't afraid of him. Yemo had calculated that even if this was an immortal spirit body, great unity immortal, he didn't fear a fight here. Jin Bingyu sighed. She was prepared to help Yemo if Yemo wanted to fight Feng Timo. They were still in a team, and she didn't want to go against her promise. But with her current ability, there was no difference whether she helped or not. Just when Feng Timo looked at the flying sword, there was joy on his face. He turned to leave, but after he walked a few meters he turned back and said, You both owe me a life. This small golden immortal can use six-winged purple radish to pay me back. As for this goddess, you can be my concubine, otherwise you can only give that life back to me. Before Jin Bingyu could react, Yemo said plainly, Qianbei, you're wrong. You owe me 10 tiger crocodiles. I don't feel I owe you anything. Feng Timo, who was a few hundred meters away, almost fell over hearing this, but he didn't stop. He sped off faster. Seeing Feng Timo leave, Jin Bingyu took a long sigh of relief. She even felt she was sweating cold. She then looked coldly at Yemo. Did you know you almost made me die with you? At most I would die. He would still want you to be his concubine. He probably wouldn't kill you, Yemo said, and then he went to harvest the six-winged purple radish. Be his concubine? I'm not that low. My life pursuit is the great Tao, not anything else, Jin Bingyu added coldly. Then, she looked at Yemo and said, You don't seem dumb. Why are you seeking death? If we stay in a team, I don't want you to be like this next time. Sorry, if Feng Timo comes back I would still do the same thing. If you don't want to team up with me, then go where you please. Yemo collected the six-winged purple radish. Jin Bingyu shook his head and said no more. She really didn't understand why Qin Yanmei and Feng Chunma would like such a person. She didn't even consider that Hai Wuchuan who followed her everywhere and sucked up to her, but compared to this Yemo, he was 10 times better. But today that Feng Timo is a rather good person. Next time I see him I will help him. Yemo praised Feng Timo. But if they really fought, he would kill this person. Jin Bingyu shook her head speechlessly. Feng Timo was not only great immortal but also immortal nirvana body. Who would be helping who? Yet a golden immortal dared to say he would help a great immortal. Wait. Yemo suddenly thought something and said, What's wrong? Jin Bingyu asked. Yemo said calmly, That Feng Timo could have taken the six-winged purple radishes, but why didn't he? Why did he leave in such a hurry? Why did he tell me to use six-winged purple radishes to pay him back? Feng Timo is great immortal power, why is he here? Yemo asked. Jin Bingyu was very smart, and now that Yemo asked she immediately realized. You're saying he came for the Chaos Blue Reed? If I'm not wrong, he probably is. What else would be more precious than 106-winged purple radishes in here? Yemo asked. You're saying that the messenger flying sword he got was about the Chaos Blue Reed? Jin Bingyu immediately asked. Yemo released his extreme grade flying magic artifact and said, Get on quickly, let's go look. Jin Bingyu got up but asked worriedly, It's not too good for us to go like that, right? We can't beat that Feng Timo, Yemo said coldly. If you don't want to go, I'll give you this flying magic artifact and I'll go alone. Jin Bingyu put on a cold face and ignored Yemo. She had no choice but to follow Yemo. She had quite a high possibility of dying here if she left alone. Before the ship could fly very far, a black figure charged over. There were a few more figures behind them. Swamp tiger crocodile. Jin Bingyu didn't expect them to be this cunning. As soon as that immortal Nirvana body immortal left, they came back for revenge. Before Jin Bingyu could feel despair, Yemo released Zisu. Illusion Cloud Domain Kill Strike. The purple sword ray swiped across the dull sky with a faint purple ray. Blood splashed and those few crocodiles were killed. Only that level 3 crocodile barely dodged Yemo's purple sword ray. The level 3 crocodile immediately realized that this guy who seemed to be waiting for death before wasn't easy to mess with, and immediately turned to run away. Since Yemo exposed his power, how could he let this crocodile go? He flew out from the flying ship and hacked out again. Multiple purple rays blocked off the crocodile's escape path. At this moment this crocodile was truly worried, and in his roar shot out tens of sword chi. There was the screeching sound of space. If those sword chi landed, even Yemo would be injured. But Yemo wanted to desperately kill this guy, so even if he got injured he would have to kill it quickly. Yemo didn't dodge the sword chi at all and released Zisu as well as multiple rays of lightning. When the crocodile was struck by the thick lightning, it couldn't keep attacking Yemo and spat a few more sword chi before running away. Yemo almost spat blood when the sword chi hit him. There was a huge hole in his armor. A blood arrow shot out. Meanwhile, the crocodile was also hacked open into a bloody mist. Yemo threw the bodies in his storage ring and got back on the ship and flew rapidly towards where Feng Timo went. Jin Bingyu just realized and looked at Yemo in shock. Your power isn't bound? How did you do it? You're a lightning spirit root cultivator too? She finally understood what Yemo meant before. Yemo's power wasn't bound, and with his ability to kill those high cultivation level than him, he really didn't fear that Feng Timo. If the two fought, Yemo might be able to kill that Feng Timo. How I did it is my business. Yemo frowned at Jin Bingyu. How I did it is my business. Yemo frowned at Jin Bingyu. Jin Bingyu seemed to know what Yemo wanted to say next and said, Don't worry about me spilling it. I know your heritage isn't ordinary. If I would spill it, I wouldn't remind you to be careful about your body refinement cultivation method. Yemo nodded. He believed Jin Bingyu, but even so he had decided to leave Fengji Heaven immediately, and never return to Gonghua Heaven. The flying ship flew for about 6 minutes before Yemo suddenly stopped. His spirit sense scanned Feng Timo, but there wasn't just him. There were at least 3 cultivators with him. They all didn't seem to have their power suppressed. There was a small lake in front of them, but there was an extremely tall mountain in the middle. The mountain was shrouded in mist. But when Yemo's spirit sense saw clearly, he was struck with a fit of excitement. He almost charged up, as not far from the top of the peak, there was a rock that bulged out. Below it was a blue immortal spirit herb. It was the chaos blue reed. Luckily, he controlled himself. There were 4 people over there including Feng Timo. Yemo knew that his power wouldn't be weaker than his despite being suppressed. Those 3 could have a standoff against Feng Timo. Clearly, they weren't ordinary. Plus, Feng Timo was definitely called over by one of them. That meant that if he charged up, he would need to face against 2 Feng Timos or the gang of the 4 of them. No matter how powerful Yemo was, he didn't dare to do this. Yemo changed the direction of the flying ship, and 10 minutes later, Yemo found a small hill full of weeds and landed there. Seeing Yemo land the ship at such a corner again, she frowned and asked, Why did you stop here? Don't worry, I'm not interested in your body. If you want to go, then please do. Yemo said this again. Jin Bingyu shook her head speechlessly. This was all Yemo could say. She watched Yemo silently as he set up a trap and stealth formation. How long are you going to stay in the Chaos Star Realm? Yemo suddenly asked. He wanted her to go immediately, but he was also afraid she would leave before him. Jin Bingyu looked coldly at him and said, "At least until I reach abstruse immortal peak stage. It might be a few hundred or 1,000 years. You don't need to worry about me going out first and exposing the secret on you. Plus, I don't know what secret you have, I just know you have a powerful heritage." Yemo didn't mind her seeing through what he thought. He had to ask clearly about this, or he wouldn't mind planting some restrictions on her. "How long will you stay?" Strangely, Jin Bingyu asked him the same question back. In Yemo's impression, she only cared about her cultivation, she never asked him about private things. Yemo fell silent for a moment and said, "Perhaps I will go out after reaching abstruse immortal. With your progress, you should be faster than me." Jin Bingyu's face eased up. She paused and said, "There are 9 levels of the Chaos Star Realm. We're only at the first level, the further you go the harder it is. Rarely can cultivators reach the 9th level, not even great immortals can. It's not that the further you go the better the resources and ease of cultivation. The first level has a lot of resources and cultivation grounds. However, the further you go, the cultivation resources doesn't increase much, but the difficulty dramatically increases." Yemo nodded. "I heard there's another saying, there are 36 levels of the Chaos Star Realm. Which one is correct?" Jin Bingyu shook her head and replied, "I don't know which one is correct. My master told me there are entrances to here in the middle and grand heaven domains. Even an immortal emperor wouldn't be able to figure out if the level 1 we go to at the lower heaven domain would be the same as the middle heaven domain. The Chaos Star Realm is too big. Even for the first level, no one has been able to reach the end." Yemo's spirit sense noticed that Feng Timo fought with one of the people. He was a body refinement immortal, but the other person seemed to be able to release magic artifacts. The other 2 cultivators seemed to be in a standoff and were about to fight. Yemo felt assured that the 4 didn't take away the Chaos Blue Reed because they weren't on the same grounds. "These are yours." Yemo took out 10 6-winged purple radishes and gave them to Jin Bingyu. He promised these to her. It felt uncomfortable keeping them on him. "Thank you." Jin Bingyu took them and said, "After we leave the Extreme Star Swamp, I still want to team up with you for trial. Is that okay?" She had some understanding of Yemo. She knew that Yemo valued cultivation resources greatly and may intervene in ones that didn't belong to him. However, he was very trustworthy and wouldn't turn on people in danger. She thought about this for a while. If she teamed up with Yemo, she didn't have to worry about backstabbing. Plus, the 2 pursued the same thing, and that was body refinement. She felt she would be able to get more benefits teaming up with Yemo. The 6-winged purple radishes were a good example. Yemo gave her 10 casually without hesitation. If it was some selfish cultivator, she might have been killed already. "No." Yemo rejected without hesitation. Jin Bingyu was useless to him, and he had too many secrets. He hadn't exposed them yet, but Jin Bingyu knew his heritage was substantial. Plus, she came from a great Eternity Immortal sect and had a great Eternity Immortal master. Yemo didn't want to have contact with such a person, at least not now. Plus, Jin Bingyu's Dao heart made him feel uncomfortable. "I can take you from the 1st level to the 4th level. I know a lot of places here, which places are for body refinement, which places are for spirit sense, which places are for immortal essence, and where there will be immortal spirit herbs. I know most of them. Plus, I know there's an immortal spirit herb mountain at the 4th level. It's very hidden. My master went there once, tens of thousands of years ago. After all these years, there will definitely be many more immortal spirit herbs there." Jin Bingyu knew what Yemo thought. "What level?" Yemo immediately asked. He lacked level 5 and level 6 immortal spirit herbs the most right now. Jin Bingyu immediately said, "From level 1 to level 6, there are more level 4 to level 6. But I must say this first, ordinary people can't find it at all. My master told me so I can collect some immortal spirit herbs back. You can only take a small part." "Then how much is that?" Yemo didn't know how big the mountain was and how much was a small part. Jin Bingyu was lost for words. I don't know, I think at least a few hundred. Yemo fell in silence and said, Let me think about it. Then, he got up and said to her, Stay here and wait for me. I'm going to leave for a while. This formation is a level 2 immortal formation. If you don't go out, there won't be any danger. Jinbinyu was certain that Yemo was going to find the Chaos Blue Reed and immediately nodded. Okay, I'll definitely wait for you here. Yemo believed in his stealth cultivation method, but against a great immortal like Feng Timo, he didn't dare to be careless. The difference between a great immortal and heaven immortal wasn't anything like the difference between golden immortal and abstruse immortal. Yemo believed in his stealth cultivation method, but against a great immortal like Feng Timo, he didn't dare to be careless. The difference between a great immortal and heaven immortal wasn't anything like the difference between golden immortal and abstruse immortal. 6 minutes later, Yemo crept near the four. He chose to come at this time because the four had started fighting. Now was the safest time. Zhong being, keeping on fighting like this won't resolve anything. That Chaos Blue Reed isn't something that one person can take down alone. So what if you and Feng Timo win? Plus, you two can't kill both me and Tan Tong. I think we should discuss how we can divide it, one fat man said. The fat man fought a ferocious-looking gray-robed man. Hearing this, he said to Feng Timo immediately, Timo, this Han Weichen is right. We should discuss things and see if we can cooperate better. Cooperate my ass, this fat pig wants us brothers to take charge, and when we divide things we get the least. He's dreaming. Feng Timo rejected without hesitation and attacked even more ferociously. Yemo saw that Feng Timo and Zhong Bing were both body refinement cultivators, both reaching immortal nirvana body. Meanwhile, Han Weichen and Tan Tong seemed to have used a secret technique to be able to use part of their power here. But one thing was certain, these four were all great immortal power. Timo, how do you know things won't work if we don't discuss? Plus, even if you two win, do you think you two body refinement cultivators can get to the top? Do you dare to go from the bottom of the lake? Tan Tong sneered. His face was very white. If we can't go up, can you guys go up? Feng Timo rebutted. Yemo just realized now that it wasn't so easy to get up this peak. While the four were having fun fighting, Yemo quietly got near the other side of the lake. Yemo worried too much. These four were busy fighting, but even if they weren't, their power was suppressed, and it was very hard to find him. Yemo didn't dare to release flying his magic artifact. The ripples in space brought by the flying magic artifact would be caught by these four. The lake water seemed very cold, but when Yemo stepped foot on it, this terrifying temperature almost instantly melted his shoe. This temperature was countless times higher than the void flame. If he wasn't God state body refinement, he might be heavily injured already. Thinking about that cold pond before, Yemo suddenly shivered. That pond looked normal, but it was freezing cold inside, and he found the skeleton of an ancient being there. There were 4 6-winged purple radishes outside that one. Here, the water was extremely hot, and there was a Chaos Blue Reed. Would the two be connected? He thought about when he was running. That skeleton told him he knew where the Chaos Blue Reed was. Was that skeleton talking about here? Did that skeleton not want to possess him but make him get the Chaos Blue Reed for him so he could rebuild his body? Thinking about this, Yemo shivered. He really wanted to dash up into the sky. This searing lake felt like a monster's mouth to him. But Yemo resisted that urge. He just sped up a little. If he flew up now, it would be signaling to those four that someone else was here. Luckily, Yemo wasn't swept in by the lake water. Yemo landed on the peak while the four were still fighting like crazy. It seemed that they were evenly matched. Yemo just wanted to speed up to the mountaintop, but an invisible sword ray hacked over. The higher he went, the more dense these sword rays were. On top of that, the higher he went, the greater the pressure. It was as though the pressure wanted to push him into the lake water. Yemo cursed. He couldn't release his octagonal cauldron nor Zisu to block them. He could only let the sword rays tear his body. Even though he was God state body refinement, he was covered in wounds when he was only halfway up. Even so, Yemo didn't dare to expose himself and gritted his teeth, bearing the cuts on his body as he carefully climbed up. 6 minutes later, Yemo came before the Chaos Blue Reed bloodied, but he noticed the four had stopped fighting. Yemo carefully ate a few pills, but he didn't dig out the Chaos Blue Reed. He hid on the side waiting. The four seemed to have started discussing. Yemo hoped the four wouldn't come to an agreement. Otherwise, even though he was next to the Chaos Blue Reed, he wouldn't be able to take it away. Luckily, after a while, the four started fighting again. Yemo breathed easy. Yemo took away the Chaos Blue Reed extremely quickly and went through the Sword Mountain before coming down to the lake. Yemo wasn't scared of the Sword Mountain, he was scared of this lake. He felt there was some connection to the really cold pond. Yemo darted next to the lake and carefully crept away a few kilometers before quickly releasing Blue Moon and disappearing instantly. Not good, the Chaos Blue Reed is gone? That pale-faced Han Tong was the first to notice. It was clearly there when they stopped fighting, but in a short while it was gone. Clearly someone had stole it. With it gone, the four no longer had the mood to fight. What is going on? Feng Timo frowned and asked. The Chaos Blue Reed was very important to body refinement cultivators. It wasn't just used for nirvana, it could also allow him to reach immortal god body. There were definitely two people who stole the Chaos Blue Reed. One person can't get it unless his spirit sense and immortal essence are both intact, and he is also a body refinement cultivator. It hasn't been more than 15 minutes since the Chaos Blue Reed disappeared. The two didn't get far. The fat cultivator said. Search. Feng Timo said coldly. It was the first time he was so furious. Someone dared to steal the Chaos Blue Reed in front of him. If he knew who this person was, he would eat him bite by bite. No matter how smart the fat man was, he wouldn't know that Yemo could release Blue Moon in here and was tens of thousands of kilometers away. Jinbingyu was in the stealth formation, but she didn't have the mood to cultivate. She was thinking about where Yemo got his heritage from. She didn't feel it was strange that Yemo became dual cultivation partners with Qin Yanmei. If the heart was connected, dual cultivation could indeed improve one's power, but using this method made it hard to achieve Vindicate Dao. Since Yemo had such good heritage and a Dao partner, he shouldn't be immersed in something as meaningless as lust. Other than some rare cultivation methods and some demon cultivators, rarely did immortals immerse themselves in lust. She was certain that Yemo's cultivation method wasn't that type of cultivation method, but she saw Yemo and Feng Chunma come out the room that day and Feng Chunma's clothes were messy. Her face seemed excited too. Yet Yemo was heartless to Feng Chunma afterwards, leaving without even saying goodbye. She knew that Yemo didn't truly like Feng Chunma. In that case, why did Feng Chunma still want to send him off? She knew Feng Chunma. She seemed really goofy, but her character was strong. She would definitely not chase up on a man after being played. The only possibility was that there was some sort of deal between them. Feng Chunma used her virginity essence to trade something with Yemo. Suddenly Yemo charged in, covered in blood. Before Jinbingyu could say anything, he quickly put away the formation flags and said, "Get on the flying magic artifact, leave now." Suddenly Yemo charged in, covered in blood. Before Jinbingyu could say anything, he quickly put away the formation flags and said, "Get on the flying magic artifact, leave now." Jinbingyu knew things weren't right and she got on Blue Moon without hesitation. Blue Moon quickly disappeared in a blue ray. "What happened? Did you fight with that Feng Timo?" Jinbingyu asked. "No, but if we don't leave quickly then we'll really be fighting when they chase up. You control Blue Moon, we'll go to Chaos Star Realm's second level immediately," Yemo said quickly. They had spent a few days coming in, but now Yemo put Blue Moon on max speed and they left the Extreme Star Swamp in half an hour. There were no cultivators at the outskirts now. These cultivators had all left. Okay. Jinbingyu was smart and knew that since Yemo let her lead the way, it meant Yemo agreed to team up with her. She took control of Blue Moon. Half a month later, Blue Moon was still speeding rapidly. Yemo killed quite a few shadowless vultures, but Jinbingyu said they still weren't at the second floor. Yemo finally couldn't resist and asked, "How far is it from level 2? 2 more months of flying," Jinbingyu answered. Yemo thought with Blue Moon's speed they would arrive in a few days, but now they still had so long to go. Yemo looked at her speechlessly. "Why didn't you say so earlier?" Yemo's wounds had recovered, but he needed to change his clothes. Plus, he needed to organize the 6-winged purple radishes he found. More importantly, Yemo felt Blue Moon was too slow. He wanted to use the shadowless vulture's main feather to upgrade it once. He was planning to do this at level 2, but now that it was so far away he could only do it now. "Since it's cooperation, of course I'm going to listen to you. You didn't ask me, I thought you only wanted me to lead the way," Jinbingyu said. Yemo was dazed. He didn't agree to the cooperation, he just said he would think about it. He was planning for her to take him to level 2 and give part of the Chaos Blue Reed to her before separating. Yemo really wanted to go to that immortal herb mountain, but Yemo realized that even if he didn't go, he would be able to find a bunch of level 5 immortal spirit herbs here. He realized what Jinbingyu meant. He didn't say anything, so she purposely took it as accepting the cooperation. Yemo thought about it. Cooperation was fine. He was only going to be cultivating and collecting immortal spirit herbs. When he cultivated, he would set up a formation. Jinbingyu wouldn't be able to see through it. Plus, Jinbingyu had some secrets. He didn't feel secure letting her leave. "Find a place to rest first, then we'll go to level 2. Yemo nodded. Jinbingyu spoke very coldly, but she was very nervous inside. She was afraid Yemo would reject her on the spot. If Yemo rejected, it would really be hard for her to bring this up again. If she used her flying magic artifact, it wouldn't take 2 months, but she didn't remind Yemo. She wanted to waste more time, that way it would be harder for Yemo to reject. Now that Yemo said this, clearly it meant he agreed. Half an hour later, Jinbingyu found a seclusive valley and flew Blue Moon inside to the depths. "This place is good, we'll open up a cultivation home here." Yemo pointed at a small mountain in the valley. It was very simple for them. In 15 minutes, the simple cultivation home was set up. 2 rooms were opened up in the cultivation home. Yemo set up a defense formation and immediately took out the Chaos Blue Reed. "Chaos Blue Reed, you really got it." Jinbingyu's tone was shaky. Yemo really got such rare treasure. Yemo felt unsatisfied to give her half, but he didn't say much. "We'll split it now," Yemo said. Jinbingyu shook her head. "I only need 1 small branch. I didn't do anything to get this, I just told you the news. If it wasn't that this is too important for me, I wouldn't even take a small branch." Yemo looked at Jinbingyu in confusion. Since when did this woman become like this? But Yemo wasn't going to be polite with her since she asked to have less. Jinbingyu said, "You don't need to give it to me now. The Chaos Blue Reed is different than other things. It's best to use it when you go through Nirvana. Cut off a small branch for me when I Nirvana." Yemo heard this and thought that if she could only use a small branch, could he as well? That way the Chaos Blue Reed could stay in his golden page world. "It seems I only need a small branch too, and the Chaos Blue Reed can be grown." Yemo nodded. Jinbingyu shook her head. "That would work to break through, but if you want to reach higher levels of body refinement, I suggest you use the whole thing." Then Jinbingyu sighed. If she didn't need to achieve Nirvana, she really didn't want to take Yemo's small branch. Using the entire Chaos Blue Reed for Nirvana was the best. But Jinbingyu knew that even if she didn't take the small branch, Yemo wouldn't be able to reach that final step. If body refinement could reach divine body, then there wouldn't be only one person to get to that step in the entire history of the immortal realm. Even for the immortal god body, there were only a few people in the entire immortal realm, and some people couldn't even reach the peak. Jinbingyu's Dao heart was firm. She didn't do anything to get such rare treasure, and she already felt uncomfortable. She couldn't convince herself to take half. "Okay then." Yemo nodded and went into his stone room. Yemo was scared that she would charge in again, so he not only set up stealth and barrier formations but also a defense formation. Then Yemo went into the Golden Page world and cleansed himself once before changing into a new set of clothes. The first thing Yemo did was transplant the 6-winged radishes and his chaos blue reed into his immortal spirit herb garden. There were more and more good things in the Golden Page world. Yemo satisfied himself by looking at it before taking out Blue Moon and 10 pairs of mane feathers from the shadowless vulture. He killed 18 on the way, but he only took out 10 because Jinbingyu said the shadowless vultures at the second level were much better and faster. Half a month later, Yemo used up all his forgery materials and successfully changed Blue Moon into a level 3 flying immortal artifact. The mane feathers could be used to forge the lowest level middle grade flying immortal artifact, but Yemo's immortal forgery skills were too low and could only bring it to a level 3 low grade immortal artifact. Yemo spent another half a month using the corner soul weeds to improve his spirit sense before leaving the stone room. You didn't cultivate? Yemo saw Jinbingyu sitting outside the stone room and asked in confusion. No. If we can go, let's go find a body refinement place at level 2. You have the Chaos Blue Reed now, so you can go choose a place for Nirvana. I need to reach God State too. Jinbingyu still had a cold face and tone. Okay. Yemo nodded. Since cultivation level was too hard to improve, then he could only reach Nirvana body refinement to improve his power. If he was an immortal Nirvana body now, he could fight abstruse immortal middle stages head-on. Use your flying magic artifact, it's faster, Yemo said. Use your flying magic artifact, it's faster, Yemo said. Jinbingyu didn't reject and nodded, releasing a rainbow stamp. Your flying and defense magic artifact are the same? Yemo asked. That's right. Jinbingyu nodded and said, My master used to use this, now she gave it to me. Rainbow Stamp was just a level 4 flying immortal artifact, but it was still a middle-grade flying immortal artifact. However, Yemo found that it was only a little faster than the upgraded Blue Moon. 1.5 months later, they arrived at the entrance to level 2. What shook Yemo was that there was a small marketplace here. There were tens of thousands of cultivators coming to and fro. Looking at the heavenly price pills and magic artifact, Yemo's fire lit up. He looked apologetically at Jinbingyu. Martial sister Bingyu, sorry. I need to set up a stall for pill concoction here. If you can't wait, you can go to level 2 first. I'm not in a rush, Jinbingyu replied plainly, clearly planning to follow Yemo no matter what. Yemo didn't know what she thought, and even suspected she still was interested in his cultivation method. But he was wary, so thinking about this, Yemo nodded. In that case, help me then. Seeing Yemo and Jinbingyu come on a flying magic artifact here, many immortals moved over. Those who could fly in the sky weren't ordinary people. Shadowless vultures weren't something the simple defense formations on flying magic artifacts could stop. They could easily pierce level 1 defense immortal formations, and high-level shadowless vultures could penetrate level 2 and level 3 defense immortal formations. Most of the flying immortal artifacts were low-grade flying immortal artifacts and had at most level 9 spirit formations. Even middle-grade flying immortal artifacts wouldn't have a defense formation higher than a level 2 immortal formation. This was why good flying immortal artifacts were so scarce. Even the best immortal forgery master couldn't allow his forgery skills and formation skills to improve at the same time. Yemo wanted to set up a stall to collect level 5 and level 6 immortal spirit herbs. He needed immortal spirit herbs for his trial. Yemo released his extreme grade cultivation artifact mansion and set up a sign saying, Pill concoction, can concoct level 3 and below immortal pills. The quality is definitely top-notch. Price is as below: 1 level 4 immortal spirit herb for 1 cauldron of immortal pills, 1 level 5 immortal spirit herb for 2 cauldrons of pills, level 6 immortal spirit herb, price up to negotiation. Will be concocting myself, don't accept immortal crystals, prepare immortal spirit herb yourselves. Even in the immortal city where immortal pill masters were very lacking, one level 4 immortal spirit herb was enough for more than one cauldron of pills level 3 and below. The price Yemo set was very expensive. But even so, this still caught everyone's attention. In the boundless Chaos Star realm, level 4, level 5 and even level 6 herbs could often be found, but pills wouldn't appear out of nowhere. The immortals in level 1 were mostly below great immortals. Level 3 and below pills were very important for them. Instead of putting level 4 immortal spirit herbs in their storage ring for nothing, they might as well use them for pill concoction. Plus, this simple marketplace was set up by passing immortals. The stall owners changed frequently as they were all here for trial too. Level 3 immortal pill masters were very hard to encounter, and there were none here. Even if a powerful immortal pill master came occasionally, he could at most concoct level 2 immortal pills. You can really concoct level 3 immortal pills? One abstruse immortal primary stage came over and looked at Jin Bingyu before asking carefully. The sign is very clear. You can concoct the abstruse essence pill? Of course. Yemo's answer was concise but more convincing. If he could barely concoct level 3 immortal pills, he would use a large amount of words to persuade the customer. But Yemo valued each word he said. Okay, I believe you. You're probably a level 3 immortal pill master. You want to collect level 4 immortal spirit herbs to prepare to reach level 4 immortal pill great master, right? The abstruse immortal primary stage asked. Yemo smiled. Good eyes, friend. Jin Bingyu shook her head speechlessly. Anyone would be able to tell this. She really didn't know that Yemo didn't even want to take level 4 immortal spirit herbs. But if he didn't, it would expose that he was a level 4 immortal pill master. Only an idiot would do such a thing. A level 3 immortal pill master was precious, but not many people would take notice. So many more people would take note of a level 4 immortal pill great master. I have a level 5 2-leaf poppy. I want to ask you to concoct 2 cauldrons of abstruse essence pills, the abstruse immortal said, and took out 2 sets of materials for the abstruse essence pill, but didn't take out the 2-leaf poppy. Yemo knew this guy would give it once he saw the pills, but he didn't mind. He took the ingredients and went inside the mansion. In just over 5 minutes, Yemo came out and took out 2 jade bottles. The pills are done, have a look. If it's right, then give the 2-leaf poppy to me. The abstruse immortal looked at Yemo in confusion. He was done with 2 cauldrons of abstruse essence pills this quickly? Even an immortal pill great master had at most this speed. Jin Bingyu looked at Yemo in confusion. She had seen Yemo concoct this pill in the match with Gong Sunjiu, but he took half an hour. How did he become so fast? They are all top-grade immortal pills. The abstruse immortal opened the jade bottle and called out in shock. He gave the 2-leaf poppy to Yemo without hesitation. Good capabilities, friend. You can concoct top-grade immortal pills in such a short time. You're too good. Those immortals waiting for results on the side all took out their immortal spirit herbs, asking Yemo for pill concoction. Yemo rejoiced. This method always worked. Last time at the Blackweed Forest, he got large sums of immortal spirit herbs and reached level 3 immortal pill master, and then level 4 immortal pill grade master. If he stayed here for a few days, it wouldn't be hard for him to reach level 5 immortal pill grade master. Jin Bingyu completely understood now. Her master's guess was right. Yemo definitely wasn't a level 3 immortal pill master. He was indeed an immortal pill great master. It was no coincidence that he beat Gong Sunjiu with 1 middle grade immortal pill. It was completely intentional. Seeing that Yemo was too busy, Jin Bingyu came up to help Yemo collect immortal spirit herbs while thinking how she could ask Yemo to concoct great unity pills for her. And her 11 6-winged purple radishes needed to be turned into pills as well. Thinking about this, Jin Bingyu felt her decision to team up with Yemo was very correct. 2 days later, Yemo's pill concoction business was getting better and better. Yemo's speed was getting faster and faster, but he didn't dare to overdo it. He didn't dare to concoct a single special grade pill. Otherwise, it would mean that he was a pill concoction great master. I haven't seen such a powerful immortal pill master for so many times. I've been here for a few decades. A few years ago, This Yen level 3 immortal pill master had such a level, but I feel this immortal pill master is much better than that Yen. I know that pill master too, he went to level 2. He's indeed very good, but his pill concoction isn't as fast as this immortal pill master, and his quality isn't as good either. Yemo heard these people discussing when he just came out. He had concocted pills for 7 days here, collecting quite some level 4 and level 5 immortal spirit herbs. He didn't collect any level 6 immortal spirit herbs, but Yemo was certain these level 5 immortal spirit herbs were enough for him to reach level 5 immortal pill great master. Then he would be able to concoct snow wing pills. What's the full name of that Yen pill master? Yemo suddenly asked. The two people on the side quickly said. He seemed to be called Yen Tantao, but he only concocted pills for a few days and went to level 2. It was him indeed. Yemo nodded and saluted with his fists. Everyone, I will be going to level 2. The pill concoction ends now. It was him indeed. Yemo nodded and saluted with his fists. Everyone, I will be going to level 2. The pill concoction ends now. Reluctant voices sounded around. Yemo's pill concoction quality was top-notch. Despite knowing he would eventually leave, people still felt reluctant. Martial Sister Bingyu, why are you here? Are you here to undergo trial too? A crisp voice sounded and a pretty woman walked over. There was a man next to her who was abstruse immortal primary stage. That woman was only golden immortal peak stage. Yes, Martial Sister Shangwan should be here for the same too, right? Jin Bingyu nodded. She didn't show surprise and joy, but the coldness on her face melted a little. Yes, I really didn't expect to be able to see Martial Sister Bingyu here. You're already abstruse immortal now, and I'm still golden immortal peak stage. Sigh, Shangwan said dejectedly. But soon, the dejection was gone and she said happily. Martial Sister Bingyu, it's so good to see you. We can trial together. By the way, let me introduce you, this is my martial brother Liao Nanchun. Martial brother, this is Martial Sister Bingyu I often talk about, she's from Gonghua Heaven's Great Eternity Immortal Sect, Extreme Sword Sect. He is? Shangwan just wanted to ask who Yemo was and saw the sign that Yemo hadn't put away yet and asked. This martial brother is an immortal pill master? She called Yemo martial brother completely due to Jin Bingyu. Yemo's power was lower than hers and Jin Bingyu never stayed with male cultivators. Now that she did, there must be something going on. Yes, he's Yemo, a solo cultivator and also a level 3 immortal pill master. Jin Bingyu nodded. Great, if we trial together we can ask martial brother Yi to help with pill concoction. Shangwan clearly didn't have many calculations and said things straightforwardly. I've long heard of Goddess Bingyu's fame. Now that I see you, it's indeed true. Liao Nanchun greeted her. Jin Bingyu was cold but she didn't ignore people, she greeted back. But Jin Bingyu didn't introduce Shangwan to Yemo. Yemo didn't ask as well, it had nothing to do with him. Martial Sister Bingyu, let's go to level 2 together. I will get to abstruse immortal before coming out. Shangwan repeated. Hearing this, Yemo immediately knew she was simple-minded. She will reach abstruse immortal? Didn't that mean she had the level 3 immortal pill abstruse will pill? If she went out alone, just with what she said there would be many golden immortals waiting for her at level 2. Abstruse will pill was a pill that could allow golden immortal peak stages to reach abstruse immortal. It was one of the most sought-after pills by golden immortals. Before Jin Bingyu could reject, Shangwan came up to Yemo and said, Martial brother Yi, I'm Shangwan. I come from Yuheng Heaven. Hearing this, Yemo was shook. He was very sensitive to Yuheng Heaven. Yemo immediately smiled. I come from Gonghua Heaven, but I'm just a solo cultivator. My sect is the Great Extreme Immortal Sect Cloud River Sect. If you and Martial Sister Bingyu go to Yuheng Heaven, you must come. I heard that Yuheng Heaven is very big and that the Heaven Lord there is a status immortal. No, who did you hear that from? He's still Great Eternity Immortal Peak Stage, but it probably won't be long for Heaven Lord Lu to reach status immortal. He's inviting all the immortals in the heaven domains who are good at fortune-telling. It said he wants to calculate the fortune of Yuheng Heaven. Hearing this, Yemo was shook. Calculate? This guy definitely wanted to find him. Thinking about this, he quickly asked, "What are the results?" "They're just starting now. It said that this calculation will take decades or even centuries," Shangwan said. Jin Bingyu and Liao Nancheng didn't expect Yemo and Shangwan would talk so much after meeting for the first time. Jin Bingyu immediately reacted. Yemo had this passion, he seemed to like pretty immortal girls. Didn't he do this at the extreme sword sect? No wonder Feng Chunma was so reluctant to let him go. Just look at the gentle way he spoke to Shangwan. Liao Nancheng frowned and looked displeased. He wanted to talk some more to Jin Bingyu, but she didn't have the mood to do that and instead looked at Yemo as though waiting for Yemo to talk to her. After a long while, she saw they were still talking, so she could only interrupt. "Are we going to level 2 now?" "Yes, of course." Yemo came back to his senses, realizing that Jin Bingyu was getting suspicious. "Okay, Martial Sister Bingyu, let's go together." "I enjoy talking to Martial Brother Yi," Shangwan quickly said. Seeing that Yemo didn't object, Jin Bingyu could only nod and the four walked towards level 2 together. Yemo wasn't going to actually trial with them together, but they could walk together for a while. He still had some questions to ask Shangwan. There was a barrier between level 1 and level 2 and it was very simple. Any golden immortal would be able to tear it open. After going in, Yemo didn't feel it was much different than level 1 other than the gravity increasing by quite a bit. Seeing Yemo still ask Shangwan all sorts of questions non-stop, Jin Bingyu was really speechless. She would have already left if she didn't want to trial with Yemo. Not just Jin Bingyu and Liao Nancheng, even Shangwan noticed something wasn't right. Yemo seemed to be getting too close to her and clearly finding nonsense questions to ask. For example, which immortal city did Lu Jingchuan live in? How many years has Lu Jingchuan been cultivating? Which were the biggest sects in Yuheng Heaven? Would these sects listen to the Heaven Lord? At least to Shangwan, it seemed like Yemo was finding ways to talk to her. Shangwan didn't object against this. Yemo was not only an immortal pill master, but he also seemed very amicable. He didn't seem arrogant due to being an immortal pill master at all and knew how to respect people. So despite knowing that Yemo was sucking up to her, she still enjoyed talking. "Wan, come over." Liao Nancheng couldn't take it anymore and didn't even call her Martial Sister. "What is it, Martial Brother? I'm talking to Martial Brother Yi." Shangwan didn't even look back and kept introducing all the rules of the number 1 immortal city, Feng Gang Immortal City in Yuheng Heaven, and where the Heaven Lord's estate was in the city. "Martial Brother Yi, do you really like Yuheng Heaven?" Shangwan laughed. Yemo was shook. He knew he was being too desperate. If he kept asking, she might notice that he cared about Lu Jingchuan. Yemo quickly smiled. "No, I want to know about every heaven domain. By the way, where is your Cloud River sect? Is there a big immortal city nearby? Can you tell me about it?" Yemo quickly asked some other questions. Just when Yemo thought he asked enough, Jin Bingyu couldn't take it anymore and asked, "Yemo, do you still want to go undergo trial?" "Right, I'm going to other places to trial." "Martial Sister Shangwan, we'll meet again," Yemo quickly said. "Martial Sister Bingyu, aren't we going to undergo trial together?" Shangwan looked at Jin Bingyu in confusion. Jin Bingyu frowned. "Martial Sister Shangwan, I still have some other business with Martial Brother Yi. We can't go with you guys for now. We'll be off first, we'll meet again." "Oh." Shangwan looked at Yemo reluctantly. She felt she could really get along with Martial Brother Yi. No matter what she said, Martial Brother Yi was a very good listener and asked a few questions sometimes for her to explain. This satisfied her pride greatly. She wanted to undergo trial with Yemo, but Martial Sister Bingyu seemed to be getting jealous. But she thought too much. She at most had a good impression towards Martial Brother Yi. Seeing the two leave, Liao Nancheng breathed easy. That pill master Yu was too shameless. He had a goddess like Jin Bingyu with him, but still tried to chat up his martial sister. Yemo sat on the rainbow stamp with his brows locked tightly. Lu Jingquan was using immortals to calculate where he was. From this, it was certain that this bastard was trying to search for Luoyu continent. What if he went there? At this moment, Yemo felt he was so tiny. He knew where his enemies were, but he didn't have the power to touch them. Seeing Yemo frown and not talk, Jin Bingyu sighed helplessly. Martial brother Yi, you just got the Chaos Blue Reed and have such a good heritage. I don't feel you should put your mind on such things. Seeing Yemo frown and not talk, Jin Bingyu sighed helplessly. Martial brother Yi, you just got the Chaos Blue Reed and have such a good heritage. I don't feel you should put your mind on such things. Yemo couldn't be bothered explaining, so he said, I like lust, mind your own business. Just take me to the body refinement place. I'm preparing for nirvana. Jin Bingyu shook her head and couldn't be bothered persuading him. A month later, Yemo killed 8 more shadowless vultures before coming to a dark red forest. Where is this place? Yemo asked in confusion. There was nothing in his jade slip about the second level of the Chaos Star Realm. Feng Chunma's brother only went to trial at the first level. This is the Star Realm Fire Forest. The deeper inside, the higher the temperature. At the center of the forest, even immortal spirit body immortals won't be able to handle it. There are also fire beams in the depth. They can't be seen, and with one mistake you would be heavily injured. If you want to achieve nirvana, this is the best place, Jin Bingyu said. Yemo nodded. It seemed teaming up with Jin Bingyu had its benefits. At least he was very happy with this place for nirvana. Nirvana came from the ancient Phoenix clan. The ancestor of the Phoenix race had the first nirvana in the flames. Jin Bingyu continued. If I was to come here alone, I would need a few years. You can't fly in the air at level 2 either, but there's also danger walking on the ground. There's a lethal force called Whirlpool Void. If cultivators accidentally go in, they will be swept to some unknown space and disappear. There's no sign to tell when it will appear. It might just be below you and you won't even know. Yemo sighed. Okay, thanks. Without you leading the way, I wouldn't be able to find this place. Let's go in. Jin Bingyu slowed down the rainbow stamp and charged into the fire forest. A day later, Jin Bingyu put the flying immortal artifact away as they landed on the dark red earth. This temperature was intolerable to ordinary immortals. If Jin Bingyu wasn't King State and abstruse immortal, she wouldn't be able to bear it too. After walking a while, Jin Bingyu couldn't take it anymore. She was covered in sweat, and her clothes stuck to her body, outlining her beautiful curves. Seeing Yemo look at her, Jin Bingyu said plainly, No need to look at me, and you don't need to say what you said to Shanwan to me. I won't do those sort of things with you. Yemo replied plainly as well. Didn't you say your body was just flesh and bones? You didn't mind before. Since it's so hot here, why don't you take off the clothes on your flesh and bones? This isn't something that can be solved by taking clothes off. Plus, I feel you're right. Even if it's just flesh and bones, one still needs to consider embarrassment. So, don't even think about me taking off clothes in front of you again. Jin Bingyu said coldly. Since when did I say that? Yemo dazed. Jin Bingyu sneered and said no more. She was greatly disappointed in Yemo's cultivation will. After walking for another half an hour, Jin Bingyu stopped and announced, I'll practice body refinement here, you can go in further. Yemo nodded and kept walking deeper. After another 15 minutes, Yemo stopped at a space made up of 4 huge gray trees. The trees surrounding this area had fire rays that zoomed past from time to time. When Yemo stopped, the scorching heat turned all his clothes and armor to air. Yemo knew this was his limit. This would be where he reached nirvana. Invisible scorching flames surrounded Yemo, even all his hair turned to dust now. The fire burned Yemo's body, making sizzling sounds. Yemo didn't care at all and just ran his body refinement cultivation method, trying to reach nirvana. As Yemo used his body refinement cultivation method, more invisible flames swept over. Even the invisible flames here had developed some consciousness after countless years. Yemo was having nirvana here, so he needed to gather immortal spirit chi, which in turn caused more fire rays to come. Countless fire rays struck him, and Yemo's God state body refinement defense started to cripple. A blood arrow shot out, but it soon turned to nothing. Yemo kept using his body refinement cultivation method, controlling the refinement of his body from his blood to his bones. When Yemo felt that his body couldn't take that terrifying laceration, he cut off a rather large branch from the Chaos Blue Reed and immediately fused the entire Chaos Blue Reed into his flesh. The dried-up blood and flesh revitalized with boundless life force. Blood, flesh, and essence blood was born again and refined. Eventually, Yemo's essence spirit and flesh fused together again like a new life. His hair started to grow slowly without being destroyed in the flame. At this moment, Yemo was completely asleep. His body floated up between the four trees. Yemo didn't know he would sleep during nirvana or he would set up a defense formation no matter what. Eventually, Yemo didn't even need to consciously use the body refinement cultivation method as it ran itself. An invisible powerful chi started to emanate from Yemo's body and slowly cover him. Eventually, it formed a plain mist on Yemo's body while more scorching heat rushed over from the fire forest. The mist didn't dissipate no matter what and kept circulating Yemo. 1 month, 2 months, half a year. Yemo didn't seem to wake up at all while the mist around him was weakening. Jinbingyu walked a few steps in joy. In half a year she had reached God's state. She was planning to spend about 10 years to reach God's state, and use a few more decades to bring it to God's state peak stage, and then reach nirvana here. Yet she reached God's state in half a year. The body refinement cultivation method of Yemo was too absurd. She was certain that not even the 11 grand heaven domains had such absurd body refinement cultivation methods. Looking at her smoother and silkier skin, Jinbingyu didn't care. She didn't care if her skin looked good or not. If reaching God's state meant her skin would turn dry, she would still choose it. However, she knew that body refinement would only make one's body more and more perfect. Did he succeed with nirvana? Jinbingyu muttered and took out a set of clothes. She felt she seemed to have been affected by Yemo. Even though it was just flesh and bones, it was her privacy. Jinbingyu's cultivation level was higher than Yemo, and she had reached God state body refinement, so she could barely match Yemo's God state tertiary stage. She walked for about 15 minutes and saw Yemo hanging between 4 trees. There was a faint mist around Yemo and immortal spirit chi circulating around his body. Clearly he hadn't finished nirvana yet. Nirvana causes sleep? Jinbingyu asked herself in confusion and walked a few steps closer. As soon as she did, more terrifying flames instantly turned her clothes to ash. Looking at Yemo hanging in the air naked and looking at herself, she felt very strange. Chapter 1597, Breakthrough to Immortal Nirvana Body. Chapter 1597, Breakthrough to Immortal Nirvana Body. Yemo was not only lustful but also a man-man. If he wasn't a man-man, he wouldn't cross the heaven domain void alone. If he wasn't a man-man, he wouldn't steal the Chaos Blue Reed from those great immortals. Jinbingyu thought of this and subconsciously quickly moving away. When she was at a place where she was unaffected, she quickly changed into a set of clothes and continued body refinement on the side, waiting for Yemo to wake up. 3 days later, Yemo felt a coolness in his sea of consciousness. He suddenly opened his eyes and a powerful and free feeling surged up his mind. It was as though his body and soul fused together, his spirit sense and immortal essence greatly improved. His nirvana was successful. Yemo flipped up in surprise and joy. Looking at his perfectly shaped body, Yemo felt a deep sense of satisfaction. What surprised him more was that not only did he successfully nirvana, but his spirit sense and immortal essence were greatly increased. He was golden immortal middle stage peak, just 1 step away from golden immortal tertiary stage. So he hadn't reached this level before because his body wasn't strong enough. Immortal nirvana body was indeed hugely different from God's state. This indescribable feeling made Yemo very satisfied. The terrifying temperature here and the dense fire rays were like nothing to him now. This powerful feeling was good indeed. Yemo howled, releasing the excitement in his heart. Even if he fought with that abstruse immortal middle stage again, he could kill him with formations. Yemo howled, wanting to find someone to share his joy. Nirvana was as important to him as reaching great immortal. He knew that using the Chaos Blue Reed to achieve Nirvana, his body refinement future would be very smooth. By the way, Jinbingyu was here. How was she now? At least she could share the joy of his Nirvana. Thinking about this, Yemo used a few cleansing spells and changed into a new set of clothes and walked out of the 4 trees. But then he turned back and wrote the words Yemo reached Nirvana here. He finally shared some of the joy in his heart before leaving slowly. Yemo didn't go very far and saw Jinbingyu standing not far away. Yemo was in a great mood. Even Jinbingyu didn't seem as annoying as before. Martial Sister Bingyu, since you can come here, you must have reached God state right. Congratulations. Yemo saluted with his fists and smiled. Jinbingyu coldly said, You want to congratulate yourself. If I'm not wrong, you probably successfully went through Nirvana. That's right, thanks for the news of Chaos Blue Reed you provided. Otherwise, even if I reached Nirvana, it wouldn't be this perfect. Yemo answered. By the way, did you long reach God's state? Yemo asked. Jinbingyu was indeed happy for Yemo in her heart. She had seen Yemo's efforts. Although he had a bad hobby, his pursuit for Tao and cultivation was no weaker than hers. Going through the heaven domain void, coming back bloody for the Chaos Blue Reed, he must have gone through a lot. But she didn't like to show expressions and emotions. Her tone was still cold as she said, Thank you for your body refinement cultivation method. I indeed have long reached God's state. I still went to see. Suddenly she stopped. Yemo frowned. He was naked in body refinement cultivation. Plus, she wasn't at God's state before and spirit sense couldn't expand in the forest, so he didn't worry. Now that she was God's state, she could get to him. Didn't that mean she saw everything? Thinking about this, Yemo was a little uncomfortable. He glanced at her and said, You looked at me when I was sleeping in Nirvana? No, Jinbingyu said and blushed for the first time in her memory. She wasn't embarrassed for seeing Yemo naked. It was her first time lying and she wasn't used to it. No? Yemo sneered. Did you know your face gets red when you lie? Or do you not know your face is red? Jinbingyu was lost for words. Of course she knew she blushed, but she didn't understand. She was an abstruse immortal and a God state body refinement. How come she couldn't control her blushing? I've already warned you that my body isn't just flesh and bones to me. Our Tao heart is different. If you're still going to be like this, we can only split up, Yemo said. This time, Jinbingyu was truly angry. If it wasn't for her great Tao, she would have left already. There's nothing to see, you saw my flesh and bones too. If you want to see it, I'll show you again. Jinbingyu spoke coldly but added uncomfortably. No matter how firm your cultivation will is, your Tao heart predestines you won't be able to reach very high. Yemo couldn't be bothered to talk to her anymore. Although Jinbingyu really wanted to cultivate till Nirvana before leaving, Yemo was planning to leave so she could only follow. She knew the benefits of staying with Yemo, so no matter how much Yemo raged she would follow him. She wouldn't mind as long as it would speed up her cultivation speed. Yemo needed Jinbingyu too, she knew this place much better than him. If he wanted good trial grounds in here, he would need her to lead the way. Where do you want to go next? Jinbingyu asked, seeing that Yemo ignored her. Is there a place to cultivate spirit sense? Yemo knew cultivation state took a long while to improve and spirit sense was very important to him, so he had to improve that quickly. You have a spirit sense cultivation method as well? Jinbingyu called out in shock. She had long suspected Yemo of this. Yemo shook his head. No, can one not cultivate spirit sense without it? Yemo wasn't going to reveal it to Jinbingyu. Jinbingyu sighed but was still suspicious. Not really, but without a spirit sense cultivation method, it's extremely hard to cultivate spirit sense. There are many places here to cultivate spirit sense. The most famous place is the Corner Soul Domain. In the Corner Soul Domain, Corner Soul Domain? Yemo suddenly interrupted her. He thought of corner soul weeds. Why did the two sound the same? Yemo looked at Yemo in confusion and nodded. That's right, Corner Soul Domain, what about it? I'm an immortal pill master, you know. I've seen a jade slip about an immortal spirit herb that can repair soul and spirit sense. It's called corner soul weed, have you heard about it? Yemo asked casually. Jinbingyu nodded. Of course I have. In the immortal realm, it's the highest level item for cultivating spirit sense. Clear weed can be used to concoct dual spirit pills. It's a level 6 immortal pill and the best pill to repair spirit sense for those below status immortal. Dark weed is very hard to get, but it can be concocted into the level 9 immortal pill, Emperor Spirit Pill. Even status immortals have great difficulty getting it, it's extremely precious. I heard that corner soul weed's appearance is related to the corner soul domain. But I don't know if it's true or not because no one knows where there is corner soul weed. Jinbingyu continued. Hearing this, Yemo's heart rustled. Other people didn't know, but he did. He had large amounts of corner soul weeds too. Talk about the corner sea domain. Why is it related to corner soul weed? Yemo asked. Talk about the corner sea domain. Why is it related to corner soul weed? Yemo asked. Jinbingyu agreed. It's said that in the ancient immortal realm, there was an unparalleled powerful being, a person called Mu Wushuang. He was solitary and didn't like to start trouble, but he liked the thing between men and women just like you. Yemo sneered. Since he liked that, then he shouldn't have been able to become a powerful being. How did he become one then? Jinbingyu didn't seem to realize Yemo's scorn and continued. It's because of this flaw that he didn't become the pinnacle powerful being and his end was tragic. Mu Wushuang had 18 concubines and every one of them was extremely beautiful. He loved them all until one day he was invited by the Heaven Lord of the number 1 heaven domain in the 33 heavens, Qing Wei Heaven's Wei Feng Immortal Emperor. Wei Feng Immortal Emperor was the number 1 immortal emperor of the 33 heavens. Although he wasn't necessarily the strongest, Mu Wushuang had to show him face, so he brought his 18 wives with him. Other than Mu Wushuang, he also invited the other 10 heaven lords of the 11 grand heaven domains. They were all immortal emperors. This immortal fruit party was supposed to be very good, but there are some things that even immortal emperors can't control. Just when the party was about to end, something happened. Yemo asked. What happened? After the part, Wei Feng Immortal Emperor brought the guests to enjoy the view in his garden, but the problem happened there. Mu Wushuang saw the woman that he couldn't forget the most there. That was the person he loved the most before he reached Great Immortal. Then, that female immortal disappeared and he had never been able to find her. However, that woman was in Wei Feng Immortal Emperor's garden and was his concubine. Mu Wushuang was emotional and just charged at that female immortal and grabbed her, asking why. Jinbingyu sighed and shook her head. Yemo knew that Wushuang Immortal Emperor's actions were indeed too agitated. But then Yemo asked himself, if that was him, would he be able to calm down? If he saw Mu Xiaoyan at some Immortal Emperor's place, would he be able to calm down? Yemo shivered. He knew he wouldn't even if he knew the consequences. Then they fought? Yemo sighed. Jinbingyu nodded. They didn't fight on the spot, but Wei Feng Immortal Emperor was furious. The other few Immortal Emperors that persuaded him and finally calmed his anger, but Wushuang Immortal Emperor needed to compensate him. Originally, if he compensated, this would be over. However, Wushuang Immortal Emperor didn't care and was still going to take Wei Feng Immortal Emperor's concubine. He said he needed to ask her face to face why this would be. Wei Feng Immortal Emperor was furious, and said Wushuang had to leave all his 18 concubines behind or this wouldn't be over. The end result was that they all fought. Yemo sneered. Wei Feng Immortal Emperor and the other Immortal Emperors didn't know that woman was Wushuang Immortal Emperor's woman before? Since they did and they still let them accidentally meet each other, I don't think things are so simple. Jinbingyu looked coldly at Yemo and said, "If you dare to say this in front of someone else, I can promise you won't live for more than 3 years." Yemo knew Jinbingyu said this out of goodwill, so he didn't argue. Seeing this, Jinbingyu breathed easy and said, "Because reason was on Wei Feng Immortal Emperor's side, when the two fought, the other 10 Immortal Emperors all helped Wei Feng Immortal Emperor." Yemo was shook. This meant that Wushuang Immortal Emperor was just too powerful. Otherwise, even if he was wrong, the other Immortal Emperors didn't need to gang up on him. That battle was heaven shaking and earth rattling. They fought from Qingwei Heaven to the Void, then the Void to Middle Heaven domains, and then to Low Heaven domains. Even countless planets in the cosmos were destroyed. If they weren't fighting in the Void, perhaps even Heaven domains would be destroyed. Wushuang Immortal Emperor hadn't attained the Tao, but his power was indeed unparalleled. More than 10 people attacked him, but he killed 9 Immortal Emperors and escaped into the Chaos Star Realm, heavily injured. Hearing this, Yemo was shook and immediately asked, "You're saying Mu Wushuang is in the Chaos Star Realm?" "Yes, he had nowhere to go, so he came here. But those Immortal Emperors chasing him were also heavily injured. They knew Wushuang Immortal Emperor was dead for sure and didn't want to go in and die with him. The Chaos Star Realm at the time was different to now. Those who went in would die for sure," Jinbingyu said. "Then Wushuang Immortal Emperor is certainly dead?" Yemo asked again. Jinbingyu nodded. "Probably, because a few 100,000 years ago, a few more Immortal Emperors went in here together and saw the corpse of Wushuang Immortal Emperor at level 2. The Corner Soul Domain is a small world of Wushuang Immortal Emperor. It's said there is Wushuang Immortal Emperor's heritage in the Corner Soul Domain. Over the years, countless people have gone there in search of Wushuang Immortal Emperor's heritage, but no one has ever been able to find it." Then how did the Corner Soul Weed appear? At the beginning, people found Corner Soul Weeds at the Corner Soul Domain, but as more and more people went, there were less that could be found. Eventually people couldn't find any. It was too easy to die in the Corner Soul Domain, so few people went. Tens of thousands of years later, people from the cultivation realm brought Corner Soul Weeds here. It's really easy to die in the Corner Soul Domain? Yes, at the beginning, there was less than a 50% chance of dying, and when the Corner Soul Weed was found, the chances were even greater. Later on the chances decreased, but people could only refine their spirits since there so few people went. Does Wushuang Immortal Emperor have something very important? Wushuang Immortal Emperor had multiple small worlds, and it's said he also had a true spirit world. When he went into the Chaos Star Realm, his true spirit world disappeared. How could Wushuang Immortal Emperor fight so many Immortal Emperors at the same time? It's because he has the best spirit sense cultivation method. An Immortal Emperor who had the same cultivation level as him wouldn't be able to survive at all due to his spirit sense cultivation method. So that's it. Yemo nodded. He realized why he would be ambushed. A true spirit world wasn't as good as a chaos world, but it was countless times better than a small world. The true spirit world could allow up to truth realization state cultivators to stay in. That Wei Feng Immortal Emperor was definitely a sinister person. Is Wei Feng Immortal Emperor still alive? Yemo disliked this Wei Feng Immortal Emperor. This guy was a harm to the world. Jinbingyu looked speechlessly at Yemo. The most authoritative figure in the 33 heavens is Wei Feng Immortal Emperor. You tell me if he's alive. 100,000 years ago, he personally went to the Corner Soul Domain to check and learned that Wushuang Immortal Emperor was indeed dead. The 18 imprisoned concubines all disappeared too. Some say they committed suicide, while some say they ran away. Then what about the woman who started the trouble? How would I know? Jinbingyu rolled her eyes and continued. When you were at the Far Star Castle, did you see a few thousand Ji Feng Heaven Domains immortals? I did. What's wrong? Yemo nodded. They're going to Corner Soul Domain to trial. I heard the conversation between 2 of them at level 1. They want to go find Wushuang Immortal Emperor's heritage there. Jinbingyu said. Yemo asked in confusion. Didn't you say that in these few 100,000 years, No one has been able to find it? Jinbingyu frowned. I thought so too, but for some reason Jifeng Heaven is doing this. I was planning to go see too, but I met you in body refined until now. If you go in the corner soul domain, your spirit sense will be limited. So, immortals will try to extend their spirit sense. If they really did, then it meant your spirit sense was improving. Yemo said without hesitation. Let's go there now. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.